There is a sixth sense beyond that which is known to man. It is a sense that is as sought after as the Holy Grail and as precious as immortality. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and entertainment, and it lies at the pit of a man's fears and the summit of his genius. This sense, of course, is a sense of humor, and this is Sense of Humor TV.
Hey everyone, it's your host, Auguste DeRose-Jones. Thank you so much for tuning in for the first ever episode of Sense of Humor TV. This, as you may know, or maybe you don't know, is a comedy-based podcast following my career as a stand-up comedian, actor, and just my life in entertainment. I really wanted to do this podcast. I've always loved conversating with people, and especially people in the industry, and just funny people I know. Laughing and having those kind of conversations is one thing that I've just always cherished throughout my life. And ever since I started listening to podcasts, I was always excited to start my own. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in for the first ever episode. Today's guest is my really good friend, Ray Solis, and we recorded the episode earlier this week. It was phenomenal, hilarious. I had a really good time doing it, and I can't wait for you guys to watch it. But just before we get into that, I just wanted to take a few minutes really quick and talk about myself a little bit. I'm a 29-year-old comedian living in Los Angeles. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I've been doing stand-up now for a few years, but I've only been in LA for a couple of months. So I'm really just excited to share my journey in this industry with you guys and have some laughs along the way. If you're listening right now, you can watch this on YouTube. Sense of Humor TV on YouTube, Instagram at Sense of Humor TV, and it's going to be on Spotify as well. So the video and audio I really want to be an ever-growing thing and a really fun way for you guys to be able to watch and listen to the guests. If you're watching right now, you can see my dog's in my lap. She will be along with me for every episode. And it's just been a really good environment over here for the first two episodes we've shot. And I'm really excited again for you guys to be a part of this. So if you have any questions for me, you guys can send us messages on Instagram. You can DM us if you have ideas for the show. If you have any questions about me, stuff you want included. I used to work in sports. If you're watching the video, you can see behind me, you can see my Stanley Cup Penguins plaque from when my time working there. I actually have a Stanley Cup ring from working there, and I used to work for the Oakland Raiders as well. So sports will be another big part of it for you guys out there, you sports fans. We'll probably talk about betting and stuff like that throughout the season. I've had a lot of crazy stuff happen to me throughout my life, good and bad, ups and downs like most people, but I like to put a comedic twist on it, hence the name Sense of Humor TV. So again, this is really just a big passion project for me. I think it's going to be something that turns into something later, and I really want you guys to be in tune with my stand-up as well. So if you haven't come out and seen me do stand-up, if you're in Los Angeles, I did a show back in Pittsburgh, my hometown, this last year, and I'm definitely going to try to be hitting the road as much as I possibly can. I have a movie out right now, This Side Up on Amazon Prime. Have another movie, What's My Name Again, coming out soon that I helped produce and was an actor in. So just a bunch of stuff coming down the pipeline for you guys to be paying attention to. And I thought it was the right time in my career and life to start a podcast. So I'm really excited about it. It's been really fun so far. And I think with that, we'll get into today's episode. So today's guest, again, my good friend, Ray Solis. And here is that episode. Again, follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, at Sense of Humor TV. Thanks, guys. Hey, everybody. This is the start of the first Sense of Humor TV podcast of all time. I got a great guest today, my good friend, Ray Solis.
What's up, everyone? How you doing today? Happy Tuesday.
Yep, happy Tuesday. We just got done playing some golf.
Yeah.
Had a good round.
We had, I was going to say, it was only a par 3, but good way to get the day started before this 90-degree weather kicked in. So
yeah, and it's exactly 1 PM, and we've already had a couple beers, so that's a good start to the podcast already.
As they once said, got the club going up on a Tuesday.
Cheers.
So here we go.
There we go.
It's been a good start to the day for me, actually. I got a pair of Nike Dunk Lows, the Jackie Robinson ones, so I'm happy winning that draw. So
What'd you have to do? Put your name in like in like a drawing to get them?
Yeah, so like their sneaker app, it's through like Nike and stuff. They release sneakers, and you have like a 10-minute window for shoes whenever they drop, and you just hit like enter drawing, and then it says it'll let you know within like an hour or something, and then 15 minutes later it said got him. And
I've
like,
tried
let's
before,
go.
but all the Chinese bots usually beat me to the
I was
punch.
gonna say, that's why they do this now, though. It like cut all them out, which is sick, because originally it was like first come first serve. So if you get there and you hit buy and you have faster stuff, then it would just buy them. But now it's like you have to enter a drawing, and it'll go through like your emails and look through kind of like to make sure you're an actual person.
Gotcha.
Or like use your stuff. I guess.
Gotcha.
So. But I think that's why I actually won this one, because I just bought like 3 pair of sneakers from Nike and like through their app right before this, and I kind of was like clicking like on some things. I was reading somewhere that if you engage with this shit, that like it'll kind of.
And you said they've already gone up in price like a bunch or something?
Yeah. So like I got them for like $130 like retail, but if you look on like StockX and all the big websites, it's like for my size $460 to almost $500 already. But I'm not reselling them. I'm about wearing them.
What made you want to get the Jackie Robinson?
Well, just because like first off, the Nike Dunk Lows are the shit, and it's sweet that they're back in and that they're re-releasing them, but it's just sweet because like today's the All-Star game, obviously being Tuesday, so it's nice that they like kind of did this for him, like a tribute thing, and then just the way they look is sick. Like the colorways is like the Dodger blue, but it just has all these like sick graphics written on them and like little baseball memorabilia and stuff written on them. So
speaking of the, like he just mentioned, the All-Star game is tonight, and it's at Dodger Stadium, which is literally like 8 minutes down the road from where we're filming this right now.
I was gonna say if we had somewhere to show you the outside, you might be able to hear them doing some batting practice right now. We're literally that close.
Yeah, that's funny too,
walking
because
distance.
you were saying that you watched the home run derby last night.
Oh yeah.
Did you see Griffey taking pictures of Julio?
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
that's
proud father.
Literally, I was like in his footsteps essentially for him. It's just sick to see it too, because like obviously Griffey's my favorite player, so to see Julio now to kind of be like him, getting the steals and home run guy and doing it all. So.
Everyone felt like I kind of did too. Like Juan Soto didn't really deserve to win it. Honestly, he just beat like Schwarber just shit the bed.
Yeah. Because I mean, it makes sense. You got to figure stuff like that happens because it's like Albert's final going. I feel like so it was like big on that. But
I bet on Pete to hit a longer home run than Acuna, and Pete was plus 175. I should have put like $1 million on it.
Right.
I kept being like everyone else who was like he was favored to win the round, but everyone else who was favored to win the round was obviously favored to hit the longer home run, except for Pete. So I was looking at it like I almost psyched myself out. I was like, why is this plus
like
175?
Like there's something fishy with it.
Yeah, so I didn't put as much as I put like $20 to win like 40 or something like that, which is still pretty good. But
I was gonna say.
But and then the other one I bet Schwarber to win, that didn't hit. He lost first round, and then I bet Pete to win, that didn't hit. So Julio's my guy because we both have him in fantasy, but and then I ended up late. As soon as I knew Pete and Acuna or Pete and Julio were gonna go at it, I was like they're gonna get tired from doing that. So I threw a live bet a little bit on Juan, unfortunately. But I would have been happy to see Julio win because he's our guy.
Yeah, see, well, like when when Juan was hitting in that final round too, like it sucks that he didn't get that full minute Julio, but like. When Juan was hitting, I swear off the jump, I was like, oh, Julio's definitely got this. So then next thing you know, I swear Juan hit like 15 balls and like 13 of them were home runs at least. And then next thing you know, he was like right there. And I was like, alrighty, I guess he is going to win.
I mean, hit over 30 in his first 2 rounds. I was like, it was
crazy.
wild, like him coming out the gate. I also, like an idiot, bet on Jose Ramirez to beat Juan Soto in the first round.
He actually, he couldn't get it going.
No, his pitcher sucked.
Yeah, he did.
It's crazy how much your pitcher matters for, like, the home run derby.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, it's just placement. Where guys, especially, like, on a field like that, they all needed to just pull it. So they needed, like, inside and a little high.
Yeah, it wasn't like they were playing at Rocky Stadium or, like,
right,
or, like
the ball
New York
floating.
where it just goes. Yeah, like, it's a little park. Yeah, so... Obviously, me and Ray are both into sports, but backtrack a little bit. I met Ray when we were both going to IUP, which I know is probably a very well-known college out there. It's the Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
So IUP, a.k.a. I usually party. I didn't meet Ray till my
the beer
senior.
cracking.
Yeah, as you hear the beer cracking. Good note.
Yeah.
I didn't meet Ray till my
ad lib.
senior year. Funny enough, we ended up like living right. I lived right on above him. And we're keeping on the note of sports. I met him the day of the famous Deflategate game.
Mm-hmm.
I went down to his place. My friend Brian, shout out the real Brian McAllister.
Oh yeah, BMAC.
he was like, do you guys, this guy Ray and these guys Ray and Trey that live right below you? And I was like, no. And they were like, I don't know how you guys like don't know who each other are. So I lived with like 6 dudes at the time, and I just met Brian down there. And it's funny that you meet someone, especially that long, like late in your college career, that you're like, I want to hang out with them tomorrow.
Right.
But like we drank and we watched the game all night and got fucked up. And then I remember just like the next day, I was just like, I'm going to go down to see what the guys are doing down there.
I just say the same thing for us. Like we were just obviously just at the crib drinking and chilling, smoking and living. But yeah, and then next thing you know, Brian comes down and has Augie, and we're just like, what's up, man? What's your name? And yeah, just introduced ourselves and just got shooting the shit. And then next thing you know, like towards the end of the night, like me and Trey were like, these dudes upstairs, they're pretty sick. Next day, we're just sitting around. We're just kind of like, wonder what the guys are out there. So we were like, is it weird? Should we just text them and see? And then
Side note, I knew Ray and them were cool because we're in their place watching a playoff football game, and there's a maintenance man smoking a cigarette inside their house.
Yeah.
I mean, full on smoking a cigarette, fixing their door, and they're just don't even care, not even looking up from the TV, and this guy's just blowing down a fucking smoke in their house. I was like,
Brad. Yeah, the little backstory on that, our front door got smashed in.
oh yeah,
One
is
of
that
our
why they were
friends
fixing
did
it?
that, yeah. Yeah, and so we had a door, but it like didn't fully lock right, so it was shitty. And we were all inside, like in our place, like drinking and like I said, smoking a little bit. Next thing you know, like this dude just pops his head around the corner, kind of has a cigarette in his mouth. He goes, "Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Brad. I'm gonna fix the door." And I was just like, "Come on in, Brad. Like you already did." He just helped himself in, and yeah. He was a good dude. At first I was just like, damn it, who's this dude about to say something?
And this was in my first like 20, 30 minutes of like knowing Ray. I was like, so they're just this guy's just coming in and smoking a cig in the house. And
I was like, shit, yeah. If
fixing the
he's
door.
ripping cigarettes, I don't think they care if might be smoking a little weed.
yeah, he definitely did not. So that's how we met, and it's like funny because back then I feel like it's crazy that we're both living in LA at this point now. We'll tell you a little story how we both got here, I guess, but it's
like
just
7 years ago.
yeah, it's crazy that it's like
yeah.
that long ago. Like, and but the craziest part, so like we met there, and did you always like this? I don't even know if I've ever asked you this. Did you always like go to college with the Sorry, my dog's chewing their toy over here. Anyway, so did you always go to college with? I know because you went to the military first, and then but did you always like when you went to IUP? Did you know that you wanted to like be in the arts or like do communication or like how did that kind of first start, or did you go for another major first?
Yeah, so the military was first. I went through like all my training and stuff, and then whenever I got home, I knew I was going to college because it was paid for. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go and kill some time and see what I want to do with my life. Yeah. And then so I always loved like architecture and then like engineering and stuff. So I actually like when I applied to IUP, I did it's called a fast track program. So I did 2 years there and then 2 years at Pitt University. And essentially it would have became like a civil engineer. And like, so I applied and stuff for that and I got accepted, and that's initially what I was going to college for. And then literally,
so you were planning on doing 2 years at IUP and then 2 years at Pitt?
2 years at Pitt,
okay.
Yeah, finishing up there. So you do all like the physics shit, all the math and all that stuff at IUP, and then I would finish up all the engineering stuff at Pitt, essentially.
Never knew this.
Yeah, and then like literally it was probably, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks before college started, I got like a thing in the mail from like the Army and the military and shit. It said how like the GI Bill was being cut back, so like instead of what it was offering, like it would have easily paid for everything, but then like with what the new offering was, it wouldn't have covered like my expenses, especially at Pitt. So I was like, damn, like I don't know if I want to do that now, because like I was only planning to ever go to college if it was free. So I was like, yeah. And so I called IUP back and I was like, hey, like I might be thinking about like switching my major and stuff. What do I have to do? And I just called, like they were just like, yeah, like
were you already at IP at this time or no?
I accepted,
okay,
but I wasn't there yet. It was still summer, and yeah, I just was asking them like majors, and I was like, do you guys have anything with like cameras and shit? And they were like, yeah, we have one called like communications and media, and you can do graphic design, you can do PR, you can do photography or sports broadcasting, whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, is there any chance I can like switch my major to that? And she was like, yeah. And so I switched my major, and then yeah, once I got there, I decided I would focus mainly on like the video side of things, script writing, photography, little graphic design, and then like some editing stuff, and then the minor and like theater I got eventually like later came on. But
Do you know the
Yeah.
comedian Tom Segura? Big podcast too.
I don't know.
It's
If
funny
I
'cause
saw him,
I
I'm
was.
sure I know
I'm sure
exactly
you
who it
would,
is.
but it's funny because I was literally listening to a podcast that a couple days ago, and he said that he went to college for communications,
yeah.
and I was like, I obviously know you and Caleb obviously did, so I
Yeah.
was like, it just hit my head, and I was like, really, communications? Like, I guess that is like something that people get into, no matter like what what sect you go to. I guess.
Right. And the thing behind that is I feel like a lot of people get this idea that it's like communications is kind of more of like almost journalism style, or just like strictly to writing and doing things of that nature, and not so much like actually doing things with cameras and like productions and shit like that. So yeah, once I realized like and that's why I loved IUP. Like as soon as we got there, like I feel like most colleges, you have to wait until like your junior, senior year before you start getting your hands on shit. I mean, they were letting us sign out cameras instantly, and I was like, all right, sweet. So you just get the experience like right away. So I was like, all right, cool. And that's the best way to learn with that stuff.
So how long were you at IUP till you went to communications?
I switched to communications before I even went to IUP.
Oh, okay. So like before
Yeah,
you
it was
got
like
there, you
2
were
3
like,
weeks before I
they sent you that
started
thing, and you were
college.
like, all right, I'm switching.
Yeah, because I was like, you know what? And that's when I realized too. I was like, you know what? Like, fuck engineering too. I was like, I love it, but I'm like, it's a bunch of bullshit schooling. I'd make good money, but I'm gonna just have to work a regular job till I'm like 65. And I was just like, I'm meant to be a fucking actor or something.
So
or
what?
make my own
So,
shit,
what did it take you to do communications first till you wanted to do the acting, or have you always kind of wanted to do it behind the scenes, and then you kind of like finally got the thing to be like, okay, I'm gonna actually like try to do this, or what?
Yeah, it was kind of more like whenever, especially in high school, I just like realized like that I entertained people naturally, and I was just fucking being myself. And I'm like, all right, this isn't hard for me, but I love the idea of like production, like.
That's one of the
I
reasons I wanted Ray as the first guest, because he makes me laugh more than most people. So
Yeah.
that has to do with it.
Yeah, if you guys could see me right now, I have a mangina. No, I'm just kidding. I wish you guys can see me, but
Check it
back
out
in
on
high
the-
school, if I was
watch on the
17,
YouTube.
I would definitely have a mangina. That's shit I did back in high school. I would like tuck it in behind my legs and then piss backwards like in the urinal. And then the teacher would walk in and see me, the Spanish teacher, and he'd be like, what's going on here? We'd be like, huh? I'd turn around real quick, and then he'd be like, schoolboy. And pull his pants down around his waist or his ankles and pee next to me. I'm like, shit, not bad.
See,
You do
this
that
is-
today though. These fucking
This is the real
they'd be
locker room
fired.
humor.
Yeah, they'd be fired today. But back then it was we just lived. So, but yeah, so like then it was more so like I wasn't like obsessed with like cameras or doing all this stuff. Like it was more just like I loved like the idea of production and like creating.
Did you
things
care like what
that.
side of you if you're in front of the camera,
Nah,
behind
yeah,
the
at
camera?
first it was more kind of I was like I can do all the directing and production side of it. But then like whenever I started doing the classes in school, we had like this little TV radio class, and we made like 2 short films for it. They're funny as shit. I'll have to get them to you, and
Okay.
you can watch them sometime. But I like wrote everything, had everything, and then I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna act in it too. So then I had our friend would always like I'd teach him how to run the tripod and the camera, but he would like be panning it, and it'd go jerking across this shit. I'd be like, that's good, Kutch. We'll take that. And like it's just it's awfully made, but like it was just so fun. And then yeah, I was like, you know what, like I like doing this shit. And then I realized just like how much money you can make as an actor. And then as I got like a little bit older, and I realized like the influence I kind of had with shit, and especially in college, I was like, you know what, like maybe I will just become an actor and like make it. And then I have a platform and all that. But then I was like,
Because I feel by the
I don't know
time I
about the
met you,
fame.
you were already like trying to act. Like you were
yeah.
already like, I know that's what I wanted to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, cause like it was always in my head. Like athlete was like my number one thing as a kid, and then I was like, all right, that's probably not gonna work. So
Let's go back to that real quick then, because that's the part I'm even more interested about, because I feel like I have a bunch of that going on with me. Where like, so when you were younger, did you ever want to like act, or were you all about sports, or like did it ever like?
So like I loved movies and like I loved shit like that kind of. But it's just I loved sports more than anything in the whole world when I was growing up, for sure. So
What was your like your
Is
first
that-
the like sport you liked the most growing up, or were you kind of doing it all? Because I know you
I
were into
don't
like
know.
motocross and
It's
shit
so
too, right?
yeah, it's so weird because like I feel like I may have gotten into maybe baseball the earliest, because they didn't really offer football until you were like peewee, which was like I feel like maybe like 9 or 10. But like baseball shit, I was playing t-ball and stuff at like 5 or 6. So
Sorry about that. We just got a quick package delivered, and my dog's here. So if you're watching the video, you'll be able to see our mascots and an adorable little puppy. But yeah, sorry about that because no one even knows I live here. So I'm like, Zanny, come here.
no one's there. Come
Yeah, I was
here,
like, no one even knows I live here. So
dog.
sorry about that. People listening, people watching. Hopefully, it
Can't
won't
take
happen
it with
again.
you. That's life.
I was like, it has to be either the cops or a package because no one knows I live here.
And if it was the cops, they wouldn't have knocked.
And if
They
it was
just
my
came
neighbors,
bursting in
they
that bitch.
hate me enough. So, sorry to interrupt, but keep going.
Yeah, so baseball is probably the first thing I got into, but I don't know. I loved basketball and football probably like the most, but it was like a tie almost between all them.
Were you always
And then-
tall for like your age? Or?
Nah, I was tiny. I was always the smallest one, and then eventually once I got height, first I didn't like it because I was a little bit like uncoordinated.
When did you grow? How
Yeah,
long did it take? Was it middle
was-
school or high school?
It was high school. It was like June going into junior year. I went from probably like 5'6" to like 6 foot pretty quick.
Dude, I was
like
fi-
the lanky.
I went from 5'2" to 6 foot.
Really? Shit. Yeah, that's a big jump.
I was like one of the shortest kids, and then just immediately,
Shot.
like out of my brothers too, I thought I was gonna be the shortest. I'm the tallest.
Right.
Weird.
Yeah, that's how. I mean, I'm the tallest in my shit. The only people that are like tall, I guess, are like my mom's brothers, which is probably where I got the height from.
That's exactly same. My mom's brother and my mom's dad were tall,
Yeah,
and then it's like
mine was-
my dad's eye is short.
Right, but we always joke around. I'm obviously the milkman's kid, or the mailman's, one of them. Whoever went to town that day.
Not John's.
Because no, he don't know what he's doing anyways. It's, I'm
That's fucking funny.
John's son.
Johnny. John
But-
Jr.
Yeah, if you see the video though, we got on some sick jerseys right now, complimentary of Augie D. Thank you.
I think that might be a new theme. I got Ray over here in the alternate USA Jordan. That's pretty fucking fire, number 9.
Yeah, it's sick as hell.
And then I'm rocking the purple Kobe because
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. first. That's another thing I wanted to ask you. I'll do it now because of the segue. We'll get more back into the history, but while we're talking about sports, who's your and I almost want to write it down because I know it's between 2 people, and I'll be shocked if you don't say one of these 2 people. I'll actually be kind of angry that I don't know you this well. But I actually might be between 3. But if I had to say, who's your favorite athlete of all time?
Because I have 3, one for each sport.
And I guarantee I know the 3. Can I say it and see if I'm right?
Yeah, sure. I said the one earlier. So for baseball.
Griffey.
Yeah.
So 1 for 1.
Yeah.
Basketball AI.
Oh yeah. Allen Iverson, for whoever doesn't know, that's the GOAT.
2. Okay, 2 for 2. And the other one I was going to say is Randy Moss.
Oh yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
I got 3
sure.
for 3. I thought about this no homo in the shower this morning. I was like, what fucking guess or what questions am I gonna ask him? And I was like, I guarantee I know it because I even thought in my head I was like, I bet he doesn't have one favorite athlete.
It's so tough to like just choose one. It like growing up because like I kind of bounced between the 3. I'd probably say Allen Iverson is my favorite of the 3 just because he had the most like influence on me. I feel like I just loved like him and Moss, how they had just like stories of where they were underdogs and just
It's kind of around the same time too.
treated like shit in bad communities, but like yeah, I mean obviously they're still given the chance to play, which is nice, but yeah, they were doubted. And then they turned it around and became the greats.
Randy with that West Virginia ass
I know,
accent too.
right?
Like,
That's what's so funny though. Both of them like are different in their ways, but they're both like have similarities. But AI just had such a change in like everything. The cult, like not trying to be a fucking white boy out here pulling some shit, but like he made me want cornrows so bad as like a kid. Like I literally that's all I wanted. So I did get him once for like 2 hours and they hurt like shit.
I
So
got
then
him one time
got
at IUP.
Yeah.
I was sitting there. Me and Caleb went.
Oh yeah, I was there. That's the time I died. It was the BET. It's
Yep.
the Black Entertainment thing. Yeah.
Back to the entertainment community.
Yeah. Or VEC. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
And I was like, and I just remember I was sitting on the corner.
fucking rode a bull
I was-
too.
I know, dude. That was again the adventures that we had in college. But yeah, I literally was sitting in that Carmelo Anthony jersey I have in there that I was gonna maybe have you wear.
Was that the Nuggets?
New York.
Knicks. Yeah.
And this girl comes up and she's like, "Have you ever cornrowed your hair?" And my hair wasn't even as long as it is right now for, excuse me, us YouTubers. And I was like, I don't think it's long enough. And she's like, oh no, it's long enough.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, all right. So she cornrowed it up. You're right. That shit hurts. Like,
oh, cause
when you
mine was
sleep,
rubber
I
bands
slept in it
too.
too, dude. And I slept in mine. And when it moves, because I was like, I want to keep this. This looks sick.
I know,
didn't
I
look
was
that sick
fucking
at
with
all.
Yours did. I
But,
thought it looked.
I mean, it felt like, especially I was wearing the Carmelo jersey. I was like, this
See,
is sick.
I'm white, so I think it's sick because I'm like, fuck, I want him, but like other people probably like, that's corny and shit. But it's like, who cares? Like, let it. Oh well, it's fucking cornrows.
My favorite guy at the time was Carmelo, and he had cornrows.
It's like, it's not like I'm out here like, oh yeah, I think I'm black. I'm rocking cornrows. It's just like, nah, it's a hairstyle. So what?
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, I was like, I had the black girl put him in for me. So it was
she was the one who asked.
Yeah, she was like, can I? And I was like, fuck yeah.
I know, I was eating a snow cone.
Yeah, she wasn't. She knew I was a Dago or something. She must have been like, this paisan over here. Get him some cornrows. Get him some pussy today.
Swap can't twist. He's wop-sided.
The best part is, dude, we went to like Okager after, dude. I'm just sitting there.
It was a Sunday fun day, actually.
I had a snow
That was
cone,
a good day.
tie-dye shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
We just looked up at the hill. I remember when we saw at the hub. We saw the thing was bumping, and we were like,
yeah, and just heard some music, hip hop music playing. I was like, that sounds like my crowd.
That's where we need to be.
Yeah. Next thing you know, we stroll
eating
up.
Snow cones, having tie-dyes.
Yeah, we fit right in.
Another example why black people are better than white people, right there.
Facts. White people be
I was
inside all thinking they're fucking someone's out to get them.
Yeah.
Or like they're just worried about like what they got to prove on.
There'd be terrible
social
music
media.
playing at the white entertainment community party.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, but
It'd be all country and shit.
Yeah,
It'd be like,
either,
get the
especially
fuck.
at IUP, it'd either be some country shit or some like generic ass rock.
Yeah.
Like not some shit like
some WDV playing. Which people don't know that's the rock station in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Just not setting a vibe or a mood at all. They're just like, yeah, come up here and sound of dryness, fucking plain.
I mean, we heard it from Blocks, and we went and partied.
Yeah, we did.
That was fucking sick. But as you can already tell, this podcast is going to be just a comedy podcast. It's going to be all over the place. But back to you growing up. So you were into sports, but did you do any acting growing up, or did you want to? And like I'm asking because I have a similar experience. I'll tell you, but
yeah. So like now, like outside of like the sports, like sports were my everything. And then like once I hit like probably teenage years, going into like I started like in skateboarding a bit. And then BMX riding, but I had a dirt bike. Like I got my first dirt bike when I was 8, and I was like, I like this, but like I was like kind of scared still on that shit. But then once I hit like my teenage years, I really started like trying some shit, and that's when like dirt bikes and stuff really became like kind of, especially snowboarding too, became like over regular sports. But like as for the acting shit, it was kind of more like. Low key, when I remember I did like a book report on Ken Griffey Jr. It was like his bibliography, and I had to do it in front of camera. And apparently like she like was doing it to see how we would do in front of camera and stuff. And like I had all the energy and could perform from everyone. But then like when this camera's on me and everyone's behind it, I just sat there and rocked back and forth.
Really?
Like and like said the whole thing,
what
but
grade
I
was
rocked the whole like 3rd or 4th grade. And she was just like, Ray, stop. Going back and forth, and like apparently I just couldn't. It was more so just because like I felt like I just couldn't sit fucking still, and it was like the fact that like I only had a square to stand.
Were you one of those dudes that like ADD came out late and you were like, that's probably what I had?
Well, I mean, I had it all as a kid for sure, but like they didn't. I never got diagnosed on that shit. My teachers just threw me in the corner or something eventually.
Yep. I had to sit in the corner.
And I'd just be turning my head and shit like during class. And they'd be like,
my desk was in the corner. In the corner. Like a fucking dickhead. Straight up in the corner. And I remember I got so mad, and the one day the lady puts the paper, like the test on my thing, and I just knocked it off the table. And she goes, August, what would your mother think if I called her right now? And I was like, she'd be very disappointed. And she's like, yeah, see, she'd be very disappointed. And I go, yeah, she'd be very disappointed because I'm getting treated so much more unfairly than the rest of the students.
Right.
And then that was the end of that. But I was like, you're making me sit in the corner.
Right. It's like not singling me out at all.
Yeah.
Nowadays, shit, that teacher been fired.
100%. Dude, I had a teacher. Straight up, this is a true story.
It sucks because all my friends are teachers now.
I was really,
literally.
I was rubbing my friend's UGG boot because like he's wearing UGG boots to school, so I was fucking with him, right?
Wool.
Yeah,
and
and
sheep.
and I'm fucking I'm rubbing the like
You're
furry
fucking
part.
him.
Yeah, and the teacher freaked out and she goes, "What did you just say to him?" And I was like, I didn't say anything because I didn't.
Yeah.
And she was like, "No, I heard you say something. What'd you say?" And I was like, "I didn't say anything." And then even the person whose boot I rubbed, he was like, he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And she started freaking out, and she's like, "You want to go to the principal's office?" And I was like, "I don't care, yeah." And then because I was a senior at that point, I was like already in college. I was like, "I don't give a fuck."
Right.
So she's like, "All right, go." And or no, I go. All right. So I get up to go leave, and she's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "To the principal's." And she's like, "No, you have to stand and wait for the security guard." So at this point, we had like a group home from Philly in our, place, and it was like all a bunch of like, like kids that got kicked out of like schools in Philly. So they were like hardcore dudes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That went to our school, and our one boy that we chill with all the time, Jamel, he fucking starts dying laughing because he definitely never saw like a white lady act like this, like fucking freaking out. And so he starts cracking up, and she's like, "You want to go with him too?" And he's like, "All right." So they kick both of us out of the class, and we're standing outside, and we're talking to this other dude from the group home, Richie. And he comes out, he's like, "Yo, what the fuck did you guys do? Like, I can hear her from like 3 doors down." And we're like, I was like, "I rubbed Devin's boot. Like, I rubbed this kid's boot. That was it."
And she just
went psycho. So then she hears us talking to Richie, right? So she freaks out even more. She runs out again. She's like, "Get the fuck out of here." She's dropping F-bombs too. "Get the fuck out of here" to Richie, like right in his face. And he's like, "All right." So he leaves. And then she starts yelling at me and Jamel. And Jamel was like, "Yo, like chill, like blah, blah, blah." And I swear to God, she goes, "You know what? You don't even belong here." She goes, "You shouldn't even be here."
Really?
And I immediately was like, "Yo, you can't fucking say
I
that."
know,
I literally
right?
said it to her face. I was like, "Yo, you can't fucking say that. Like, what is wrong with you?" So I started getting mad at her. I was like, "What is wrong with you?" Like,
Crazy.
yeah,
ass bitch.
And I go, and so right at that time, I'm yelling at her, and she's yelling at me. Ray, the security guard, he was like pretty cool. His name was Ray.
Great name.
Cool guy. He was
Ray-Ban.
He was a bartender downtown too. It's funny.
Really?
Yeah,
Shit,
and he was our
so
security
He
guard.
served shit up. He knew.
It was funny because he ended up bartending us after like when we could drink. So anyway, yeah, he used to be our school security
I'll guard you and then I'll serve you.
Serve and protect.
Yes. Literally, that's what he did. He protected
Wow,
him.
Ray
Then he
really
served.
did serve and protect.
Yeah, that's what
That's
he
hilarious.
Does.
My high school friends are gonna die.
That's
About that. And so I fucking he turns the corner and she literally goes, "Get him out of here!" Points right in my face. She goes, "Get him out of here before I fucking strangle him."
Really?
The exact words. And I was like,
I would have with my cock.
I'll have something you could choke
At that
on.
point, literally, I'd be like, "You're about to choke
And then so
on 8."
we leave. We turn the corner. We leave. As soon as we turn the corner, Ray, the security guard, looks at us and he goes, "What the fuck did you guys do?" He's like, "I've been a security guard here forever and I've never seen a teacher that mad." And I was like, "I rubbed this kid's boot." And he's like, "That can't be it." And I was like, "I swear to God, this is all from me rubbing a dude's boot, right?" So then
go back and check the footage.
we had 4 principals at our high school, which is crazy. But we had 4 principals. So I get into one principal. This fucking little dick nose. This is a Coley. He's not gonna listen. But he fucking I'm in the
Dick
office with him, and he starts trying to talk about like how we're gonna get detention and suspended. And me being me, I just cut him right off. I go, "Hey, I'm gonna stop you right there." She said Mel didn't belong at the school, and she said she was gonna fucking strangle me. And Ray even heard it. Like he heard her say that.
Right.
Like, and
So you had
and
an alibi.
the principal just looks up at Ray, and he just goes, shakes his head, yeah. And I was like,
Really? Had
yeah,
the back
like I
call?
heard it,
Yeah.
yeah. He's like, and I was like,
See,
and
Rays
I was
aren't
like,
bad.
and I just go, "So if you try to get us in any kind of trouble, I'm gonna blow this thing up and make it a bigger deal than it needs to be." And he
Right.
just literally gave it a second. He goes, "How about you sit out there and wait till next period and go to next class?" But this is the best part about the whole story. This really happened. Best part about the whole story. So we go to, I had study hall next period, right? And I'm meeting up with my friends, but a bunch of them were in that class, right? That's why the class was so bad.
Yeah.
And so we're walking to class telling my friend George Hensler about this story, right? And telling him the whole story. We turn the corner. This is not even the floor that she teaches on. Huge high school I went to. Should be nowhere near this floor, right? And I just go, "Yeah, Mrs. Cassip's a fucking crazy bitch." And the second those words leave my mouth, she turns the corner, dude. I swear to God, turns the corner. And we just froze. We didn't know what to do. We were like, and she just goes, "Speak of the devil." And we just started busting out laughing right in her face and just
I'm like, "Bet you looking in the mirror, speaking of the fucking devil."
went to class the next day like nothing happened.
That's all you gotta do. I'm telling you, because it's like, listen, we both did some.
Because
shit.
you know she got
So-
called into the office and they were
Oh,
like,
I'm
"You
sure.
can't be saying that black kids don't belong here and then you're going to strangle
Right.
a kid."
That's what I had one kind of interaction with a teacher where like I would have thrown hands with his ass. Is Mr. Gill. He was like, he used to be a wrestler back in the day at ours, but he's like 5'3", 5'4". His voice, he'd go, "Today, guys, we're gonna," and it was like real high. It was crazy.
And you're going to
But-
fight him.
Well, yeah, he fucking taught like geography, and like I knew how to read a compass and shit at this point. And his ass put me to sleep all the time, but he was teaching about compass that shit I already knew. So I like fell asleep. Next thing you know, he smashes my desk with like a roller, like woke me up. He's like, "Get up." And he's like, "Get out in the hallway." I'm like, all right. And then like I went out there, and he comes out like 5 minutes later. He just gets in my face, like literally walks up, he's looking up at me.
What grade
he's
were
like
you in?
5'2", like a junior. Junior or senior, but yeah, junior, I think. He was literally looking up because I was like 6'1" at this point. I hit my growth spurt. He was like 5'3", 5'4", like tiny. And he's just like, says something like, oh, you're always something this and falling asleep. And then he's just like, he goes, you're never going to amount to shit. You're fucking nothing. Said something like that. And then like I literally clenched my fist and like pushed back into him. And I just said, fucking say something again. Like ready to
say something
like,
again.
Please say something again, or please let me smack you, dude. And then he was like, get the hell down to the office. I said, fucking gladly, and just went down. But I was just like, dude, first time I was like, I would love to hit this motherfucker. But I'm like, how are you going to say to a student? Like, I'm like, I get it. Like, if I was being a douche or doing something dickhead your class, I was like, I literally fell asleep. So what? I'm like, I know how to read a compass, bro. Like, if you would have asked me, I would have just told you, like, I already know how to do this shit. So, like, sorry.
Did you play, like, sports all the way until you graduated, or?
Yeah, for the most part, some sports, but then other ones I quit kind of throughout just because, like, yeah.
Like, I stopped playing football after freshman. I pretty much stopped playing everything after sophomore year, and then that's when I got big. So I was small, and like my high school was all like, you know, the Aaron Donalds and fucking Brock Gronkowski's of the world.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you weren't big, you were just wasting your time.
And and for me, like, so my birthday's in June. And so my mom started me in school early, too, because she was like, I need to get this motherfucker out of my hair.
Yep.
So I started school early, and then so, like, I graduated with some dudes that were, like, almost a year older than me, and then, like, kids that were the same age as me, years younger than me. And so, like, there was dudes, like, getting kind of held back, I feel like, for that. And I'm like, shit, if I was 19 years old almost when I graduated, I would have been a fucking freak too. But I was like, I graduated at 17 years old. Like,
dude, same. I always, because it was not only with me, it wasn't just like being undersized. It was like my grade were all freaks, and a lot of them were held back. Like a lot of them weren't held back, but their parents held them back specifically because of sports too, though. Like they were that crazy that they were like in their heads they were already like, I'm gonna give this kid an advantage for that. I had a kid that was literally he was 20 days away from being a full year older than me. Like I'm January 2nd. He's January 26th. A year older. And one of the biggest beasts I know, Jordan Banky, shout out Jordan, he is the opposite, where like he should have been in our grade and he's the grade above us. And like I originally was in the grade above us because I think I told you this before, they thought I was a genius because I could do multiplication and division and stuff in preschool, and then they realized I was dyslexic and I couldn't read and write. So I went from being in advanced classes to special classes.
I was gonna say to basket weaving.
To back to honors math again, back to special classes. I was like savant kind of. I was like radio man or whatever his name.
Back and forth.
And
you didn't know which way you wanted to go.
Because I was like, oh, I'm the shit. And then I was like, oh no, I'm
dumb as shit.
I'm fucking dumb as shit. Yeah, I went from being the shit to dumb as shit.
To shit.
And they would do it to me all the time. They'd be like, you're real smart. I'd be like, yeah, I know. And then they'd be like, no, you're actually really fucking stupid.
It's like, thanks for the false.
My confidence went up and down like crazy.
The roller coaster.
Yeah, I was like, and then I really realized I was like, oh shit, no, I can't read. Like, and it was like as bad as you can imagine. Like I couldn't write the. I would spell THA.
That's on like Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, dude, it was bad.
It's a tough one. He goes, the.
Dude, my dad got so mad.
That's a big one.
That was the most like hardcore old school shit my dad ever did. He was so mad at me. He was like so angry at me that I couldn't write that. He was like, "You're fucking dumb as shit." He's like, he was so angry how dumb I was. He made me sit down I'll never get on a yellow legal pad, like one of those things, and made me write the 300 times. He's like he's like 100 for each letter. He made me write THE 300 times.
Yeah, I couldn't.
And that's when I was like, okay, I never fucked up the again. But it was like,
oh yeah, that'll teach you quick.
Yeah, it was definitely like a. It definitely gave me a different. I'm not a doctor, obviously, but it gave me a different perspective on like sometimes illnesses where it's like, no, if you just make someone do something, they can pick it up.
Yeah, it's like
not everybody, but like there's some people that it's like I could obviously write the. It was just like I honestly wrote the because I was so scared about how mad my dad got about it that I was like I'm never gonna fuck this word up again.
Speaking of that, it's like broccoli and anal sex. They go hand in hand. It's like if you're forced to have them as a child, you'll love them as an adult.
I literally took a sip of beer right when he said that, and I almost spit it over my brand new mic right now. So that was bad.
Yeah,
That's hilarious. I've never heard that. That's actually really funny.
No, my go-to one for like a pickup line, low key, I've been trying to pull off is just, what'd the banana say to the vibrator? What are you shaking for? She's gonna eat me. I mean, it's so stupid.
What are you shaking for?
She's gonna eat, and it's like it's so true, but it's also it shows playfulness, but hopefully they're like, yeah, this dude's a complete fucking pervert.
I mean,
Don't worry, I've said it to a few, and they're just like, nothing said again. And I'm just like, alrighty then.
I guess
Stick to PG.
I'll
I guess.
shelve that one.
I guess stick to PG.
You
Shit.
say the Clearfield girls love that one.
Yeah, I've been told I'm better when I don't speak, but
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. That's why I just walk around and smile.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Nod my head.
I was gonna say, just drink enough gin, you'll just.
Then I
smile.
can't even make words. I'm telling you, there's times in college I couldn't even make fucking words, yet I still managed to
It's
make
true.
it with chicks.
I did witnessed it a few times.
Literally mush mouth.
So another thing. So when I first met Ray, another thing we did is we filmed this like thing in college. That was like when I first found out like you like act wanted to act and stuff. Like I knew you were in communications with Caleb, but I didn't know that like you wanted to act. And obviously Caleb's more behind the camera kind of guy.
Yeah.
And they filmed this like short. I don't even know what to call it, like a short gambling little.
Yeah,
video.
it was a short film, but
Short
like
film.
it was about a degenerate gambler who had his own he went to this little underground casino, and I was the guy who ran the casino, Cream.
And I was like
AKA
your
cash rolls,
your
everything around
driver, like your
Well,
handyman.
Yeah, he was my like, well, you were the dealer.
Yeah.
But he was also just like my side dude.
Accomplice.
Yeah, but it was funny because Leb played 2 roles in that film too. He played the bodyguard and then a dude at the table.
Did Tippy film it?
Nah, it was Ashley chick.
Oh yeah, I
Ashley or
forgot that there
whatever.
was another girl in the group
Yeah,
that did it. Yeah.
I like in the background though we kept like bird dog bottles and shit in the Busch Light.
Dude.
I had a Busch Light in the.
I
thing.
forgot about Bird Dog was a thing until I went to that bachelor party in Ohio.
That's my
and
shit.
Yeah, I forgot.
I'm all about
that. Shit is.
That's my
wow.
favorite whiskey.
Yeah.
Even though it's cheapish, but it's fucking fire.
It's just booze and a little bit of sugar, and it fucking gets you going.
I drank a whole bottle that one time out at this camp. I mean, I'm talking
College
like
or
an
high
hour
school?
and a half. After it was either towards the end of college. Yeah, it was while I was in college, but I was home. And I was.
Isn't it
blacked.
wild to think about how much like you used to be able to drink?
Oh, stupid!
Dude.
A full fucking fifth.
Especially, dude, I don't even. You know me, like at this
Which
point,
isn't
like
good.
I don't even drink liquor at all.
Sorry, Mom. I don't drink as much anymore. Not nearly as much. I just smoke weed.
Yep.
A lot of it. I
Yeah.
live in California, so I can. So fuck you if you judge me.
Sorry,
I don't care actually.
Lisa.
Yeah, sorry, Lisa.
I like how I remember.
I'm gonna get a tattoo with your name like in cursive on the back of my leg, so I can get away with anything.
Lisa, we haven't met, and I still remembered your name. That's
Mhm.
it's a brain right there.
It's like the Mona. Lisa. She is a gem.
Yeah, I drank an entire eighth of Kraken when we were in college, and I went through
And
a
that's
table.
like 100 proof.
Yeah, I went
or
through a table.
whatever it is.
I had the Kraken in one hand and the Dr Pepper in the other. Drank the entire thing.
It's a good mix. Yeah.
Caleb, it was a delicious mix. And the funniest thing is Caleb said he just heard this huge crash from the kitchen, and he walks out, and I'm just in a like where the table was that I just went through. It was just splinters and me just laying there, just flat out.
You were there whenever swales got put through my table at IU Patty's.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. First it was supposed to be me.
Yep.
But I couldn't really stand like straight enough. And then
So swales went
Nick.
through.
Well, Nick. It was Nick actually. It was swales put Nick through it. But then like swales got like knocked out low key from it. He like got landed on.
He's like a fridge, dude.
Oh, now he is
Yeah.
huge.
Did you ever meet Charles's buddy Matson that came up to IUP? He's like the Incredible
know.
Hulk, dude. But he's like
Really?
not. He's just the widest human I've ever seen.
Is he like cut? at
No,
all,
he's
too?
like.
No, he's
But he's just like.
massive.
I would never wanna fuck this dude.
The mountain.
He's dude. But he's like.
He's, like
He's
6
probably like
foot.
6, maybe 1.62, maybe. But I'm talking like, I mean, bro, if we stood next shoulder to shoulder, he'd be wider than us.
Is he like? Is there fat to him? Is he like
He's
like
a little bit,
70?
but he's just like, dude. The dude is like, I mean, he'd probably be the best offensive guard in the NFL of all time. you could pull this dude all day on the line.
Really?
Oh my god.
He
I
got
was
to go
like
up against Aaron Donald on
dude,
the
I saw this dude
middle
jump
inside
off.
and
I saw
see.
him jump off of at IU Patties. I saw him jump off of a garage, like one of those like little
Oh
garages.
yeah.
Snapped his ankle right in half.
No.
And
Oh
walk-
wait, that dude.
Yeah.
Actually, I did see him.
And went
He
around the
came up
rest
in
of the
that-
day.
He came up the next day, and he like was in like a boot or something, but he was already like
Drove all the way
very
back to
good.
Maryland with a snapped ankle too.
I mean,
Psychopath. Dude, like just seeing a man of that stature just jump, and then you just see one leg get shorter because his ankle just goes. I was just like, and then just walked around the rest of the night on a broken ankle. I mean, I had
a broken ankle.
Some of you
I
middle
was hopping
PA,
one leg.
some of you middle PA boys are different.
Yeah, they're built different. Best QBs for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of
Joe Montaigne. I said Joe Montaigne.
If you're just listening and not watching, I was waiting until I read the story. So on our little podcast stand right here, I have a autographed picture from Joe Montana that literally says 2 August, and he's put the E too, which makes me feel good. 2 August from your friend Joe. That's what it says. And so how I got this, right? I was probably in 5th grade, and my mom just opens up the mail one day, and that's in there with one to my little brother and one to my older brother. And I didn't even really I knew who he was, but I didn't understand like how. I was like, oh, this is awesome. But my mom was like, no, this doesn't, like, what is happening? Like, someone's pranking us. Like, what is going on? And so she calls like everybody she knows, and she's like, hey, this is a really weird question, but did you tell Joe Montana to send my kids like personalized autograph pictures? And they were like, no. Like every single person. And so she just stopped asking people, and she ends up talking to my grandma, and she brings it up, and she goes, oh, finally he sent those. She goes, I played bingo with his aunt. She goes, I've been telling him for years.
No way.
I swear to God. She had no, and we're like,
my mom's like thinking like that's some Happy Gilmore shit.
And my mom's going, Gloria, do you know who Joe Montana is? And she's like, yeah, he's a football player, right? And she's like, he's like maybe the best football player of all. Like she thought she was just asking her friend, like, be like, oh, tell your nephew to send my grandkids something. Had no idea it was Joe Montana.
That's fire.
And so I kept it all these years, like, and it's like it's funny, like if you're watching, like, look, it's like an actual like picture you used to process, you know, when you used to like take like like
you
pictures.
Get it printed.
Yeah, you would get it like printed. Like it's not like
it's a film.
Yeah, it's not like old school. I gotta get it framed, but yeah, isn't that fucking wild?
It's fire.
Yeah, random story. But we got into the story because I have a Hall of Fame Brock Woodson ball too, and that's I need to get this framed. But yeah, weird.
Except for Tom Brady has 6 now, so I guess he is the GOAT, I guess.
Yeah, but he cheated for like 3 of them at least. So I know I'm
he's vegan now.
If you can't tell him from Pitt, yeah, you saw avocado ice cream. It's fucking. Joe Montana was having beers, and they were Iron City.
He's probably smoking cigarettes in the fucking halftime.
Dude, one of the coolest things. So another thing, we'll get into more podcasts, but I used to work for the Raiders, right? And one of the coolest things I got to do was I got to transcribe all the former players, what they had to say about Ken Stabler when he died.
Oh yeah,
dude, and the stories were awesome.
Oh,
like so I would transcribe. My boss would call him in, and dude, they were like, he was the definition of a guy you like wanted to go to war with, and like, you know, he invented the line. He invented the line. I don't think there's anything wrong with reading the playbook by the light of the jukebox. That was like his like that's like what he said, and like, I mean, he played till he was gray as fuck, like, but he just yeah, it was sick to hear all like the former like Raiders players from back then be like tell us stories about like how sick he was, like to play with and to like party with and stuff.
Right. Speaking of a Raiders player, when I was like 21, I was going to Vegas, and there was a guy beside us that sat, like me and Trey sat next to each other, and then a guy sat beside me. And at first I noticed him because I had Jordan 10s on, and he had Jordan 10s on, but he had like Chicago colorway, and I had like the UNC ones. And then I was like, started packing snuff. And
Were you actually packing one?
Oh, yeah. And I had Grizzly, and I put in a
I was like, I'm surprised you haven't had one in yet.
Grizzly, I know. It's in my golf bag, unfortunately, right now.
Shit.
But yeah, and then I put in a chew of Grizzly Wintergreen, and then not even 30 seconds later, I'm kind of looking over him. He has Grizzly Wintergreen, but it's pouches. But I was like, not bad still. So then I look over at him, and I'm just like, nice choice of snuff, you know. I say to him, he starts laughing. He's like, oh, nice shoes too. I was like, thanks, bro. Next thing you know, I look, he has a Raiders playbook. He ended up being a Raiders player, and I was like, oh, shit, good luck to you in the season, whatever. And he started chirping a little bit. He was like an offensive
Do you remember who
guy.
he was?
Nah, he was like, probably just like a practice squad more player. But I was just dying, chewing Grizzly Wintergreen and rocking the same shoes, literally. And I'm just like, I was like, hey, what's up? I was like, not bad by you. Like, but it's funny because most people, like, I feel like they would acknowledge him because they saw him in, like, Raiders shit. And, like, saw he had a playbook, so they'd be like, oh, my God, a Raiders player. Me, I'm sitting there next to him. It's like, not bad shoes. And then just because he's chewing the same snuff, I'm like, he ain't bad.
That's
I don't care. He's a
That's
football
exactly
player,
what I did when I ran into Anthony Jeselnik at the Comedy Store when I was like I was like, oh, a funny guy from Mount Lebanon having the same drink order. And I was holding 2 Peronis and he was holding 2 Peronis. Like, it's way better going with like an angle like that than just being like, oh, you're Anthony Jeselnik. Oh, you play for the Raiders. Like, it's just like they get that all the time.
Right.
That's like the one time I met Terrell Pryor. He came up to me and was like, yo, that's a sick sweatshirt. And I was like, for sure. And I was acting like I didn't know who he was.
Right.
But I'm like, you're fucking Terrell Pryor.
You want to buy it off me for $10,000?
And then Rufat comes up and he goes, hey, Terrell, big fan. How you doing? And then he immediately bounced. He was like, all right, good talking to you, bro. And just left. I was like, thanks, Rufat. Fucking shout out Rufat.
Yeah, shout out. I haven't seen Rufat in like probably like 7 years, 8 years too. Shit. That Kenny Chesney concert, honestly, I feel like back
when Joey got arrested.
Boat.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's when Joey got arrested.
Shout
out Joey Stacks for his
yeah.
BUI because it was worth it. Thank you, Joe.
Shout out Chuck for that dive between 2 boats and getting cut up by like an anchor.
He got pulled in with an anchor. I love you, Chuck, but what a scrap move getting pulled in by an anchor.
He gets up and passes right out on that boat.
Just big cut across his chest, just sleeping.
Yeah, he's fucking killed me.
Oh my god, dude, those were the
we were
fucking
just
days.
Swimming in the water for a minute.
I
was about to
in our underwear.
Try to swim across the fucking river. Dude was like $50 for it. I was like, sure. Next thing you know, I'm like 50 feet out there. I'm like, shit.
Next thing you know, Joey's in cuffs.
I'm like, well, I wasn't driving. I was riding.
Dude, you made a good transition to this, and I was maybe going to bring it up anyway, so this is a good way to transition. So this is only the second interview I've ever done, and the first time I ever interviewed someone was when I was, look, I don't know if you saw this up here. I got the Raiders little name plaque, right?
Oh, yeah.
But when I was working for the Raiders, my boss, Mike Taylor, he's a character. I show up to work one day. I'm thinking it's just another day at work. I'm not even wearing anything, whatever. Fancy. That was one of the nice things about working for a football team. You just like wear shorts or whatever, right?
Comfort.
Yeah.
Never goes off.
So I go in the one day, and he goes, hey, August, I need you to come with me. We got to go to this like school for this event, right? I'm like, all right. And I'm driving with him in the car. And as we're driving, and he goes, hey, so I'm going to need you to interview Lorenzo Alexander when we get there. And I was like, what? Never interviewed anybody in my life. I mean, he's telling me on the drive there. What am I supposed to ask him? I don't know anything about this dude. I'm like, he's like, oh yeah, just Google him. He's like, you know, he's from the Bay, like blah blah blah, like, you know, he was a Pro Bowler, like special teams, you know, stuff. He's like a pretty big player. And he's from the Bay, right? So I'm like, what the fuck? So I literally Google him in the 5 minutes of the rest of the drive, and just like interviewed him, and he told me after, which was really nice. He's like, hey man, that was a good interview. Like, thanks. And I was like, for sure. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, I didn't even know who you were like 20 minutes ago. Like, what is happening? Like, I hated when my boss did that shit. Like, that was the only time but he would do stuff like that all the time. He'd be like, hey, like, not only you, I had no idea I even had to go to this event, let alone you're telling me I have to interview. I have to interview a Pro Bowl player right now. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, shit. So, again, I just wanted to say that. Thanks for being a part of this, because this is my second interview ever. So.
I hope I get the job.
Yeah, this is the only one I actually
This is my first interview. I haven't gotten a job ever. Well, McDonald's, I did have an interview once.
You ever get fired before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I got fired one time. But I told, it was at IUP. I told a Cafe on Medias at IUP. I told the girl, though, in my interview, I was like, yeah, I've never been fired before. And I could tell from the second I said that. I think she hired me just so she could fire me to be my first.
I guess I've only been fired, I guess, once, and then I quit every other once. And like the way it's funny, like with McDonald's, it was actually like my first job outside of shoveling and fucking mowing lawns. Yeah, when I was like 16, because I had to pay for my car insurance and shit. And fucking I worked at McDonald's, and eventually we hired all these girls in my school, and then they started like this one day. It was real busy, and I swept this big pile of shit off the floor, like food, and we got a rush of people. So then I was like, fuck, people started like kind of stepping it, so I just swept it underneath like the shit where you make the food. And after this like fucking 20-minute train of people came through, they go in, they're like, I hear them, they're snitching to the manager, yeah, Ray swept a thing under I was like, yeah, so it wasn't getting kicked around. And then they're like, yeah, what are you doing tonight anyway? Is this your chore? I was like, I have to clean the grill. They're like, you're also cleaning the floor as well. And I was like, so I gotta do both jobs? And they're like, yeah. I said, nah, actually, you guys have to do both jobs because I quit. And I just laughed.
Oh, you quit? You didn't get fired?
Fuck no, I just quit.
Oh, okay.
And then Luke was killing me. He goes, where are you going? I was like, I just fucking quit. And he's like, nah. I was like, yeah. And he's like, fuck, I'm quitting with you. But he like clocked out still. I think I might have clocked. I can't remember. I went up to the thing, and then, we both just fucking dipped and went back to my house.
Quit with you.
Yeah, and then we fucking looked up YouTube how to shotgun a beer and shotgun 2 in my basement and then 3 in my yard, and then went over to the fair, and was drunk as shit. 16-year-old kids just fucking walking around being dumbasses.
When I got fired, I was pissed because she called. I had to go to work at 6 because it was a coffee shop, so I had to go in 6 in the morning just to get fired. I was like, you could have just like told me
Right.
not to come in.
Right? I mean, like, yeah. And then another job though too, Walmart. Before I like left for the military and shit, I was working there as a door greeter, youngest ever. They used me for my looks. That's what they did.
I was like, yeah, usually door greeters are like old dudes.
70 years old. I was like, you guys know I'm only like 18, right? I'm
Like, shit,
yeah,
we thought
dude.
you were 80.
Right? Well, you were walking.
Now we gotta fire you.
Holy fuck. You had like a crip walk. But no, I started working for them, and then I was like, after a while, they were doing little shit, pissed me off. Like the one day I brought in this Mariana hoagie, which is a hoagie in our hometown that like you have to buy them. They're special made, and they only come in like twice a year, and they're so good. And I took it into work, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to eat this thing at lunchtime. And I went in at lunchtime, nothing was in the fridge. I was like, what the fuck? And so like I was like, what happened? They're like, oh, we cleaned out the fridge like before lunch and stuff. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I was so pissed at
They
like
threw
my
it away?
managers. Yeah.
They
So
threw
I
it
went
away.
to
They
the
didn't even ask you like who
so I
this
went
is?
to the fucking deli. I got like $50-$60 worth of food, like boneless chicken and shit. I just took
Sick.
it back and ate it, and they're like, "Yeah, just give us a receipt." I was like, "There's no receipt," and they're just like, well, "It's good." And I was like, "I know it's good." And then next thing you know, like, eventually they were pissing me off with bullshit, and then I didn't show up for 2 days, and then I fucking went back to work like when it was my next time to work. And they're like, hey, can we see you in the office? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm getting fired. And I go in there, and they're like, hey, so actually there's a job that opened up in electronics. It pays like $1.80 more. You get better hours. And I was like, okay. And they're like, do you want it? And I was like,
So you got a promotion?
Yeah.
You thought you were going to get fired, and they promoted you.
Literally.
Oh, my
And
God.
Ansh was so mad because he worked there at this point for probably like 5 years. Pushing
You didn't
cars.
show up, and they missed you. They said, we got
I
to keep this
missed
guy
2
around. We got to
days,
give him a little
dude,
more
and
responsibility.
They fucking literally gave me.
That
and
is
Ansh
fucking
was so
amazing.
mad at me for that. And then, yeah, I worked that for like 3 months, and then I was like over their shit, and then I just stopped showing up. Didn't call, didn't anything, and then they never called me, never
Stop
nothing.
sending you checks.
That was just it. Yeah, that just ended like that.
That is fucking
I was
amazing.
just like, fuck him.
That's amazing. That's exactly like
I don't work for Sam Walton. His ass works for me.
That's fucking hilarious.
No, I'm playing, but
That's hilarious.
fuck Sam Walton. But nah, I feel it sucks because Unch is my dude, so I feel bad that it happened to him. But like I'm like, it just kills me. Like he did everything that you're supposed to do, kept his mouth shut, and just kind of did his job, and he didn't get anything. And I was an asshole to them and skipped work, and then I got a promotion.
Treat him like
So
shit just
I-
makes him want you more.
It's like a woman apparently.
That's
but
fucking
I
funny,
see-
dude.
Damn it.
Yeah, mine's not like.
Literally, I was like,
You know me.
when they called me and I was like, oh, here we go. And like, I was like, wait, why is dude in here from like electronics, kind of like the head dude? And then he was like, so Ray, we have, and I was just like, wait, you guys are offering me like a promotion? They're like, yeah. And I was like,
I thought I was getting fired.
literally, I was like, I just skipped the last 2 days, no call, no show. Like, okay.
Were you at IUP when Madres was there? It was like next to Pita Pit. That
I
like
think so.
it was like a
for,
knockoff
split little-
Chipotle.
Yeah, I think so.
Dude,
Did Madre's Mexican? Did who worked there?
me and Charles.
Oh yeah.
Dude, and we lived upstairs.
Really?
It was bad, dude.
like gross or like
Both. It was bad, dude. Like, cause like so when Charles got a job there first, right? And he was like, "This is sick. I live right upstairs." But when he got his job there, he had a manager, right? So I get hired. He's like, "I can get you a job, right?" So I get hired. 2 weeks later, the manager goes, "Oh, we need to go to the other location because they're like having trouble, right? And it's like more of an important location." So at that point, we had no manager. So everyone was your equal. So then it got to the point where me and Charles would just switch our schedules around where we only worked with each other. Dude, I mean, Charles was way
right.
crazier than I was there. Charles would get blacked out, like blacked out. Like he
From
would come up
work?
and be from work and be a whiskey bottle deep.
No way.
I swear to God, dude. And it was like,
Little Mander.
it was hilarious,
Crazy.
dude. I was like,
Charmander.
and then it got to the point where like, you know, when it was just only me and him working together. I mean, dude, we would just be facing bongs, like.
Right, just getting ripped.
Oh, dude, and it got to the point too where a lot of times we would just both be scheduled, and since we knew it was only gonna be us two, we would just switch off. We'd be like, "Oh, you work this day," so we get paid for not even working.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I remember I would just rip bong and fucking watch Game of Thrones in the back. That was like when Game of Thrones was real big coming out. I would just watch Game of Thrones in the back, and I remember the one time I would like have my iPod on the fucking speakers, right?
Oh yeah.
And no one ever comes in, right? It was like that they closed down over the summer. We're like this is the best job ever. I'm never gonna quit this job. And
Right.
the whole time I work at IU or live at IP, and they closed over the summer because obviously no one came.
Yeah. It
And I would make myself. I remember the first time they were like, "You can have a free meal this time because you can have a free meal this time because like it's your first day, right?" I got a free meal every time I
day.
worked there.
Oh,
Never
yeah,
paid
I would-
once. And
yeah.
like there was like the veggies and I would make like veggie nachos basically because like all the meat and stuff was gross.
Oh, I bet.
But the veggies were good. And I remember Chuck and like I said, we would split up the schedule, and it was a day where I was just working by myself. Like I'm like, oh, no one's coming in. Maybe a couple people, I'll be good, dude. An entire little league team came in,
Of course.
and not only that, I had the most ratchet music playing on the speaker, and there were so many kids I couldn't change it. So like literally, I'll never forget. It was like I picked up a little hoe, like bubble, and I'm like,
Teaching
what do
these
you
kids
want?
some new
Yeah, and I'm
verbs,
like,
yeah.
it was completely non-filtered, just rap music playing, and there's just a little league
They
team.
got to get exposed to it somehow.
Yeah, it was bad, and then yeah, they couldn't fire us because we definitely should have got fired there, but it was like they couldn't, they needed people, and then
That
we just
bad,
got an email over the summer like, so I guess
they-
this is over, huh?
Yeah, they shut
Gotta
down.
find, and that's when I went to the coffee shop, got fired, and then I never had a job the rest of the college.
Yeah. College is, yeah. That's why I literally was like, if I'm going to college, I'm going to do it like where it's only free, like the military. That's why I was like, so I could just fucking take advantage of it. I'm like, shit, this shit's free. I don't give a fuck what I do with it. But I was actually like more mature at that point before going to the military. So I start like my first 2 years, I didn't skip like a class like ever. I 4.0, and then next thing you know, I was like, I'm going to start skipping. I'm going to start being a little shitbag. And so I did. And I was like, fuck it, because I can now.
I had a class like that where they didn't take it. As soon as the class said we don't take attendance, I was like, so I'll never be back.
Yeah,
I only came for the test. I came for the midterm and the thing, and then that was it.
Finals, yeah. Yeah, that's what was fire about some of the classes there. Like my wine tasting class, I'd be like, we just did online quizzes, and we could use our notes and work together. And then he would just be like, yeah, you can come to class or you can't, or you don't have to. I'm like, just tell me the days that we're gonna drink, and then I would just go on those days. But it was like a 15 a.m. class, so I'd wake up from like a Tuesday, fucking wasted, and I'm like still feeling good, and get
After we
in
hit
there
the
at
lanes.
like 10:30, fucking pour up 2-3
After we hit
glasses.
the tomahawk lanes.
Everyone's putting everyone's putting like 100 milliliters in their glass. Mine's like fucking 450, full to the brim. I'm like, thank you. And he goes, Ray knows how to pour a glass. I'm like, but not doing the sniffing shit.
Nah, you're just
I
like-
was just
you're-
smashing.
I'm not sending it back. I might as well
Nah,
drink
I
it.
was like, this shit.
That's always the funniest thing is when you go out to eat and you order one and they want you to like check it out. And I'm like, what am I gonna? You just open the bottle and am I gonna send it back? Like,
Yeah, right.
like,
Like,
yeah, it tastes like shit,
it's etiquette or whatever for
Yeah.
wine tasting.
which I have none of, I guess.
Nah, I don't like sugar. I am sugar.
Yeah, you don't need sugar. You're sweet enough.
Sugar Ray. Nah, I miss Tomahawk Lanes.
I do too, honestly.
Bowling. It's been a while since I've bowled. even,
Ranky's
actually.
birthday. I
Oh,
went a
yeah,
couple
that
times when I
is
was
the
home
last
in
time.
Pittsburgh, but like out here, that was the only time I ever went. But yeah, back to more related topics. So again, fast forward, me and Ray know each other from college. I think we told a good amount of stories from there. And then Ray was obviously still in school after I finished because he went to the military. So then I was bouncing around a little bit. Ray was still at IUP. And did you go right to IUP to California, or was there anywhere else?
Nah,
between?
I went to Baltimore.
Oh,
for,
yeah, fucking- I
2
was-
years.
How could I forget?
Yeah. good
How
old
could I
Baltimore,
forget?
baby.
Yeah, I could not.
I hated it at first,
I
but I
could-
actually ended up loving it.
Dude,
It
I was
fun.
so mad when you guys were living there.
Really?
I hated that you guys lived there
Really.
because I was just like Baltimore. Like I don't know if we have any listeners from
some
Baltimore,
OG
but I was
shit.
just like I was just so confused because that was when I was living with Seth.
Oh,
That was when I was living with Seth up in Pittsburgh, and I just remember being like I would tell him all that all the time. I'm like, so they live in Baltimore.
I know, of all places.
Yeah, I
It
was just like, what is
Port
going
City.
on?
It was shithole, but it was fun. It was just nice that the city was like so close. Like, and that's when the bird scooters and shit first came out. we used to just rip those to the bars, and it'd be like fucking $4, and we'd be so drunk, and it was just like
You had a
it
funny
was
crew
so fun.
out there too.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
a good yeah.
It was like
That's when
Woomer
Chad
and
was
shit,
shitty,
right?
but yeah, Woom moved out eventually too, and it was just it was a good crew.
Yeah, that was.
At first, I didn't fuck with it. I was like, man, I hate Baltimore. And then like I started going out on some weeknights and stuff, and I was like, all right, let's just live a little bit. And then I started to again, and then I was like, all right, it ain't bad here at all. And yeah, it was a good time.
And then did you go Baltimore straight to LA or Clearfield or?
Nah, and then I worked there for like the SSA, and then when I left there, I went on a cruise and came back, and then I stayed with like my ex Kira at the time at her house for like 3 months, and then moved out.
How long? When did you move to LA?
What was it? I left in like very beginning of August, I want to say, and then I got out here probably like the 20 something, maybe 21st or 22nd of August, 2019.
So like
And then
right
just
before the
in time
pandemic.
for the pandemic, baby. And well, first Kobe dying. That's why I was like, "Fuck, dude!" Like,
I'll
that's
never
crazy,
forget
'cause
that.
it was
Yeah.
literally, because I live in like Studio City, so I'm like, yeah, just down the 101 from where the fucking shit crashed. I'm like, that's literally like 10 miles from my home, and I'm like, wow.
I remember I was going. It was on the day of the Pro Bowl, and I was going to the
I
an
thought it was a joke at first. I was
Oh,
like,
me too.
please don't tell me.
I was going to the bar. Drew was dropping me off at the bar to meet up with my buddy Tyler from the Raiders, and I saw it, and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "I can't even say it." That's how I said. I was like, "I can't even say it. I can't say the words." Like I had to just show her the phone, and then she was like, "Oh, it's TMZ. Maybe it's not real." And then I realized it was real, and then I was like literally walking into the bar, and I see my buddy Tyler, and I'm like, "Dude, Kobe just fucking died in a helicopter crash," and I know the owner of this place, awesome place in Alameda. If anyone ever goes, called Town Tavern. I know the owner, and I was telling him too. And the fucking bartender has I don't even know what to call it, not the balls, because that's not what he has. But he was like, "Oh yeah, I never really liked them." Immediately, and I just go, "Yeah, dude." I literally go, mind you, this is where this dude works, and I just go, "Dude, shut the fuck up. No one gives a fuck what your fat fuck." I go, "No one gives a fuck what your fat fucking ass thinks right now. Get the fuck out of here."
Right.
I said, "Get the fuck out of here at his own place." And he literally looks over at the dude who owns the place that I'm like, no. And he just looks at him and he just gives him like a, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah,
and he just went in the back.
Really?
Yeah. Didn't say a word after. He just fucking bounced.
It's facts.
Because he could tell how serious I was. I was like, dude, this is... Because, like, again, we talked about the favorite athlete thing. I don't even have to think twice. Kobe's my favorite athlete. Which is being a crazy thing, being from Pittsburgh. Like, I have so many people to pick from. Palomalu or, like, whoever. But Kobe's definitely my favorite athlete.
See, and that's what's funny. I used to hate him when I was younger. And then, after I hit, like, probably, like, 15, 16, I was like, I got to respect the dude. Like, he is nice. I just hated the Lakers, kind of.
It was kind of the same with me, where I didn't like AI, and it had nothing to do with him, but it was, like, my friends that liked him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They would always hate on Kobe, so I was like, fuck AI then.
Right.
But it's like, now that I'm older, I'm like, hey, I'm sick as hell.
Like, you can't hate the players for being who they are.
That was like the same thing.
Those dudes were dogs.
That was the kind of same thing with LeBron. Like, until LeBron won that championship in Miami, actually pretty much until he won the championship for the Cavs, that's when I really was like, oh, you're one of the best of all time.
Oh, and the way he did it.
The way he
that
did it,
comeback,
yeah.
that
Oh
was
my
fire.
God. That was, I was
so glad.
3 best final performances I ever witnessed, like, while I'm alive. Not in any order. Actually, I'll put them in order. How about it? We'll make it funny. Number 3, Dirk beating
KD
that
and
Heat.
Westbrook?
No, beating the Heat.
Or
team.
the Heat. Oh yeah, the Heat.
Like
that is right.
That was. I mean, he didn't miss
Well,
a
he
free
beat
throw
KD
for,
and them first, and then
yeah,
into that. That's right. Yeah.
That was number 3. Number 2 is Kobe going 7 games with the Celtics when he had like no help. It was like him and like Powell.
Right.
And then when Ron Artest hit that 3, like that was Kobe,
Fire.
and then LeBron number 1. Yeah.
I know that comeback was crazy.
Insane. Against the most winningest team in NBA
I
history.
know. Like then it's like next year they're like, yeah. By the way, we got Kevin Durant coming in.
That
like,
was the most.
Might be
bullshit.
getting him back again.
That
Shit.
is crazy that they might, because they do have a good trade package for them.
Do you think? I don't know. I saw something on.
If I was
like,
Steph, I wouldn't want him to go. Like, I had this argument for weeks and months, and it was funny because it was leading into like.
Because I heard the Suns kind of wanted him, but then they just did that contract with.
I keep saying that, like, so I had a big argument with my friend Mike Haller and Young Pale about who was better, Kevin Durant or Steph Curry, and it was funny because it was going into the final. It was like before the Steph had made the finals, and his whole argument, his entire biggest point was that was that Steph never won Finals MVP, which he obviously just did.
Right.
But on top of it, I was trying to say, I was like, dude, if you're drafting a team, if you don't pick Steph over Kevin Durant, you're insane. The one guy has built the Warriors were a joke until he got there. Like Kevin Durant, every time the going gets tough, he fucking is left.
Right.
So it's it's like what Steph did to the Warriors is what Durant should have done to the Thunder.
Right.
Like the Thunder weren't shit before there. The Warriors really weren't shit. They won one championship in 1971.
Right. Yeah, and see, Steph's one of those guys where I'm kind of like I was always on the fence with him. I didn't fuck with him. I did in college. I liked him. But then when he blew up and everyone started riding his dick, I was like, all right, I don't fuck with this dude. And he just got cocky, and I'm just like, all right, I'm over him. But, like, obviously I respect the shit out of him, and I think he is good. It's just hard because, like, Durant, it's like they both do the same shit. They both can get to the hole. Durant's just a little bigger and more, athletic, I think. But just, like, Steph's obviously a better shooter. So it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, fuck, you would think Durant would be the better to take because he can do more, you'd think, being 7 foot and can dribble. And if you play them one-on-one, Durant will beat him. But, like, Steph does make his players around him better, obviously, because that's why he has ships, and KD doesn't have any without him. So
that was exactly I was like, if we're playing,
if we're play with Westbrook too, which is kind of toxic.
If we're doing a pickup game, I'm picking KD. Maybe, you know, I can see the argument there.
Yeah.
But if like we're building a team to be in the NBA, if you don't pick Steph, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Like that was my argument. I was like, bro, the guy has literally built a dynasty by himself.
Right.
For a team that was a complete joke. It's almost what Jordan did. The Bulls were a joke until Jordan got there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they've been a joke ever since. I'm sure the Warriors are going to go back. Can't wait to being a joke because I'm a Lakers fan. So it's like I was rooting the fuck against. I hate Boston more than any other place team. You know, yada yada yada. So I was rooting real hard for the Warriors there. But
I was rooting for Boston.
Oh, dude, I can't stand them.
Patriots,
Celtics, Red Sox, Bruins. Bafungal. I can't deal with any of them. And probably in that order. Like Patriots I probably hate the most, then the Celtics. But they kind of switched because I've always hated the Celtics at the same level. And now that the Patriots don't have Brady, I just don't hate him as much. Like I don't want to see Belichick lose, but it's like I realize that it's like I don't know what it was, but I don't hate the Patriots as much as I used to.
Yeah.
Unless they get good again. It
was funny that I transitioned. I went from hating the Patriots really badly when I was younger to now the Steelers.
No.
And I used to like the Steelers were my second favorite team as a kid, honestly. But then it's weird it shifted to the Bengals a little bit whenever. Because Chad Johnson was my dude. I liked him.
Their uniforms are just terrible.
When they first came out, though, those ones when I got a Chad Johnson black one, I thought they were so sick in like 05, 06.
Even Chris Collinsworth said, he's like, you got to play tough if you're going to have stripes on your helmet. It's like,
well, it kills me. I just saw the Madden thing got put out. I mean, the top 8 or 10 receivers, whatever. Jamar Chase wasn't even in it,
dude.
I was like, so he didn't even get. I mean,
Madden is the most brokenest game of all time. If you're listening to EA, I fucking hate you, dude. Myles Garrett's a 99. TJ's a 96. The dude just broke. I say broke because he did break it. They can give him the half sack. He broke the fucking sack record, and they give Myles Garrett, who literally had 10 less sacks, a 99.
Yeah, I mean he is a freak athlete, but yeah, they should just go off of what you did and
like it should be after the year that you had leading in.
Yeah, your performance.
Like
I know. Well, it's just crazy. Like literally, I'm like
dude, Michael Thomas.
They had like Terry McLaurin and shit in front
Michael
of him.
Thomas
he's not nowhere.
Michael Thomas hasn't played in 2 years, and they made him a 90.
Who?
Michael Thomas hasn't played in 2 seasons, and they made him a 90.
Really?
And trust me, I drafted him into my dynasty draft.
So did I, actually.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. He hasn't played in 2 years, and he's a 90 overall. Like whoever's making these rankings needs to come on this podcast so I can talk shit.
Right. Speaking of fucking dynasty, pissed Julio. I was 1 round away from being able to have him as a keeper for the next 3 years.
Was that really what it was?
Yeah. The only all right. So backstory. I had the number 1 pick this year with the 12-man league. I took Shohei Ohtani. Because no reason not to. He fucking gets you beast. The only thing I will say I hate about it is that I can't start him as a hitter when he's a pitcher, too, because he stays crushing as a hitter when he pitches.
He gives himself all that run support.
I know. He really does. And I'm like,
I went to the game last week and he hit that triple, that 2 RBI triple.
Literally. And I'm like, God, he hasn't had fucking 2 RBIs since the last time he pitched. And, like, so you can't get those stats. But he's worth the number 1 pick. But then anyway, so our keeper round is in the 14th round. It started in the 10th, like 3 years ago, but now it's the 14th because people were getting like, our buddy had Acuna there for a while. And I'm like, dude, fuck this.
Yeah.
And so I ended up I knew who Julio was a little bit. I was following him, and I knew that he fucking was dominating spring. But they were saying, oh, he might not get called up until like mid-June or something. So I was like, shit, maybe no one's really heard of him, and I didn't think anyone in my league really knew who he was. So I was like, I could probably take a chance and try to get him keeper league, but once the keeper league comes around, they redraft or redo the order. So I wasn't gonna be first pick anymore. It was redraft and you'll be random. So I was like, in my head, I'm like, I know how to work. I'll get like 10th pick or something now. Someone will end up pulling them, and then they get them for them years. And like, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just take them, risk it, and we'll see. And it's fucking paid off, that's for sure.
I know. It's funny that we
Like,
both have. It's funny that we both have Julio Rodriguez and we both have Shohei.
Yeah, both beasts.
Both beasts.
Telling you. That's why I was glad whenever you were doing the thing and you said that you took Julio. I was like, good. I'm like, trust me.
I got him and Bobby Witt.
and
I went
when-
super young with
And the
him.
thing is funny, when he started off this year, I'm telling you, he was batting like 200 or like 180s and had like fucking 28, 30 Ks, like nothing. I'm like, damn, he's kind of shitty. And then like after
That was the
second or
craziest
third
thing.
week, boom, he just started stealing every bag, and I'm like, okay, he has like 10 steals.
That was the craziest thing about the home run derby. I was like, bro, you have 16 home runs on the year and you hit 30 plus each
Dude, just
round.
in
I was like,
round,
what is
yeah.
happening? I was like, I didn't know you could do this.
Oh, he has the power, but it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, I didn't know the speed shit really. And then once he started stealing, I was like, all right, this is what I like. So we get, especially Rotozier leagues or whatever.
We're gonna take a 5-minute quick bathroom break and then we'll wrap the show up in the next 30 minutes or so. All right, we'll be right back. And we're back with the podcast. I just took a piss, so did Ray, and cracked a couple more beers for you guys. So
Pissed at the same time. We were sword fighting, actually.
I won the sword fight, by the way.
He won in length, girth, and time of peeing.
I was gonna say
TOP.
you might have the bigger sword, but I'm more deadly with it. Strategy.
My hands make it look very average.
Yeah, I got the Kenny Pickett little.
There's too big.
I gotta wear gloves when I
hands.
throw a football.
Yeah.
No, you're not. I love you, Kenny. Don't.
It makes
don't
everything look so average. I pick up like a cantaloupe, and they're like, "Is that a ping pong ball? What the fuck is that?" I got this fucking wall of empty beer cans in front of me.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's
say I've been
like
hiding mine under the table, but
2
the
p.m.
YouTubers they'll know. Yeah, I mean we're gonna be feeling it for sure. It's 2:20, perfect timing.
I low-key want to go back and golf. If only we could get back to 80-degree weather and not this 95 right now.
I was gonna say I swear I would go play again. It was that
No,
much fun.
yeah.
We were hitting it real good, guys.
Oh yeah,
For
we
two
we
guys
got
who-
hotter as I feel like as the day went going.
Sandy, I haven't seen you have that. Anyway, if you're listening, my dog just brought up this tennis ball that I thought she lost like 6 years ago. It might have been under the couch and she just rediscovered it. So she's happy. That's all we want. If you guys like dogs, watch the YouTube video because this one's adorable.
She was talking about golf, and she's like, "I also have a ball."
I keep saying we should just have her be the ball retriever. Look at that. Look at that.
No.
So cute.
Yeah, we
So-
were smacking though.
So back to me and Ray living in Los Angeles now.
Mm-hmm.
When I actually didn't live here even a year ago. I'm almost coming up on the year anniversary of living in LA. One of the reasons I moved here was because I stayed with Ray when we were helping shoot a film down here. And we did shoot another film for a prolonged amount of time up in the Bay Area, which is now out on Amazon Prime called This Side Up. So if you want to watch me and Ray goof around a little bit on film, check that out for sure.
And it's just Amazon Prime making a little bit of moves.
I like that. That is a nice little tag. It's nice to say in my comedy show sometimes, like, he has a show or a movie out now on Amazon Prime.
on there.
Because none of them are going to probably watch
To
it.
rent it, but
Yeah, they aren't probably going to watch it anyway, but it's just like, they're like, oh, now my ears will perk up a little bit because this guy is not as big of a loser as I'm sure he is.
we're not only here to plug the movie, we're also here to plug my OnlyFans. That you should subscribe
Now
to.
that I am subscribed
99
to.
cents a month.
Mhm.
so.
That'll get your money worth.
It's only dogs. Pictures of dogs. Don't think I have my dick on there. It's just dogs.
He
so.
will sell you his underwear though for some.
I've been offered 200, but
That is.
I'm waiting for 5.
Yeah,
and
that
that's
isn't
no
a
joke. That's the beauty of living in California. I get approached by gentlemen while I'm out, even at Jimmy John's or Jersey Mike's. I mean, and they pull, hey, you should do you model? Would you like to model? I was like, I mean, I wouldn't hate it. Exchange numbers. Next thing you know, are you gay? I'm like, no. Next thing you know, would you sell me your underwear for $100? No,
I
response.
I was coming over to hang out at his
$200.
house right after that too, and he's like, something weird just happened. I was like,
And then, like, literally, I was like, damn it. Like, in my head, like, all my friends were like, just fucking sell me underwear. And I'm like, all right, maybe I'll be like, yo, I'll get you a dozen for, like, $1,500. We'll cut a deal. And then I would just go to, like, the thrift store and grab them or something. But then I was like, I'm just too moral of a person at times, and I just want to know what's going through this guy's head. So I was just like, well, why don't you just go to, like the thrift store or, like, a used shop and get a pair? And then he just hits back with because they won't be as fun as yours. Winky
that's
face.
fun.
And I just, in my head, I'm like, true, but Jesus, man.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You're
but
not wrong, but, like, come on, buddy. Like,
that was the funniest part to me is you were like trying to be like, you felt bad for the guy.
yeah, I'm like, I want to help him maybe.
Yeah,
like,
that is
even if
the
it's
nice
not
part of
selling
you.
my underwear.
Anyone
but
else would have
fucking
just wiped their ass with a couple pairs and just
sold it to
put
him.
it to him. Yeah.
Nah.
If you're listening, guy, I'll do it. So hit us up, hit us, DM us, because
I'm not only about the money, unless it's good money, like clean money. I don't have to sell my dirty drawers for money. Then I'm
literally
about it.
clean.
Yeah, like if
You're like, if you want them not worn,
if Nike's like, yo, we want you on something, I'm like, sure. Or like, you know,
Yeah.
Pampers diapers or something, like for males that shit and piss themselves when they piss them or go to sleep at night. That would be like my campaign ad.
to track back a little bit, that's the funny thing about like. So funny story. I was kind of the thing where I ended up just like playing sports and stuff, but I didn't really think I was never like thinking I was gonna like do anything with it, you know, like that far, kind of thing. But we had a play in 5th grade, and like they had like an actual like play dude come in and like everyone like auditioned or whatever, and I didn't want to be in it because funny enough that I do a podcast and I'm a comedian and actor and stuff now because I've like diagnosed social anxiety, so I used to hate talking in front of people.
Right.
Like I hate it, and so I didn't want to be in the play, even be in it, right? So we did our little auditions, right, and the dude picked me to be the lead. I had the most lines, most everything, right? And I was in. Dude, he announced it. He wasn't like, hey, it wasn't like, hey, we want you to play the role. It was like they announced it in front of the whole class, like who was playing each part. And so when they said I was playing like the lead, there was kids started crying. Like they were really so devastated. They wanted to be the part of that. And me being me, I was like, I don't want to do this. I remember this kid Terry. I was like, have Terry do it. He's fucking, he's flipping out.
Right, like he obviously has passion for this.
But this guy was like, you know, he's like, no, you're my star. Like you need you.
Yeah, he knows talent. Talent, motherfucker. That's a casting director.
Dude, I did it, and my friends who like I play sports with ridiculed me so badly for doing it that I never wanted to. I like never did anything else.
Really?
Like for until literally like probably until I did that video with you. That was like that's how long. I was so like I liked doing it, but I like got made fun of so bad that I was like I'm never doing this again.
Right.
So I did.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. So I did it forever. So it's like that's why I asked that question though. It's just like it's just funny to see like I just knew that sports was never gonna be it, but I also was like, oh, I don't want to like get made fun of for doing this shit.
Right.
So I just didn't do either at some point.
Well, yeah, and then that's kind of the thing I was saying. I felt like I had little bits of nerves in me when I was younger, but it was more so just like I started getting to a point where I was like, I'm very empathetic as a person, but like I don't give a fuck what you think about me, honestly, because like judge me all you want. Like I know who I am deep down and what I believe in and like the type of person I truly am. So like if you don't think I'm a good person or don't want to associate with me, that's fine. Then like
I've said it many times.
Like you think it's bad, that's fine.
I've said it many times and I'll say it again. I think the best quality a human can have is empathy.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to feel sorry for you necessarily, but I feel like that's why I'm like a friend that a lot of my friends come to when like bad shit happens to them. Like they can talk to me because it's like I'm just like I can empathize with what you're going through. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's the person you want to talk to is like someone who's like not trying to like feel sorry for you, but like is like oh shit, like
I get where you're coming from. You're trying to at least, or
And those are like those are like the nicest people too, where it's like other people, because I think it goes both ways where like you're more inherently nice to people who are unfortunate, but you're also not kissing ass to people who are like above you or something.
Right, exactly. Like for instance, like even when I go to places like a fucking karaoke night, like I'm always singing, but like I'll see someone get up on there and they might be awful, but like they're up there doing it, and then like I'll hear people in the crowd kind of talking a little bit of shit or saying something, and I say something to them. I'm like, shut the fuck up, like they're up there at least doing it. Let them have fun. Who fucking cares? Like, yeah, I don't see you up there singing. I don't see you up there. Like,
That
who
happens all the
cares?
time with
Like,
I went to an open mic, and it was at that Mama Shelter place, and they were talking. Like, I heard the people were being just patrons, and they were talking mad shit,
yeah.
and I was like, unfortunately they left before I went up. You know what I mean?
To say some shit
Yeah.
to them up on there.
Because
Oh,
I was
gonna
just gonna kill already, just to like be like, okay, well, like, I know you're not gonna be able to talk shit about this set,
Right.
but also I was gonna say some shit. You know what I mean?
Shit on him a little
But
bit.
like, but again, it's like, it's funny because it's like everyone thinks they're a comedian in the seat. You know what I
Yeah,
mean, or
just
something,
everyone's
or
a
like you same
critic
thing.
in
Everyone's a
general.
critic. Yeah, it's like,
it's like, oh fucking well, like if it's not like what you like, oh well, like deal with it for a little bit. Or if it affects you that badly negatively, then like don't look at it or listen to it. Like don't let it get like, I don't know.
I think also people like they'll be like, oh, like the karaoke thing's a perfect example where they'll be like, I would be embarrassed in that situation, so I feel like I have to comment on it or something like that.
Yeah.
They're almost jealous that you don't give a fuck.
Right.
They're almost like, I'd be so embarrassed to be singing right
Yeah,
now.
but like that's you. Like that sucks then,
Yeah,
because
I'm
I
having
wouldn't be
fun.
at all. Yeah, like
that, I think that's a huge part of it. Is
are
that
you going home at night thinking about it? Like no one is. Like who? Like
Yeah.
if anything, they're thinking about how much I rocked the show. That's what I want them thinking about. I don't care if even my voice was good, but if they're like, he was sick and like was like tip your bartender and fucking shouting out and dance around, they'll remember that.
I think more of it though is like especially like with someone like you is like you're having fun.
Yeah,
you know what I
that's
mean?
all it's
Like,
about.
yeah.
Like you feed off energy, and that's what it is for me. And that's where like it's weird. Like I love my my me time, alone time, and like my space, but like I also couldn't just be alone because like I love feeding off other people and like I need to be in environments around people where I can just be like
Amen to that.
yeah.
Because like I do like being by myself sometimes, you know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
I'm definitely someone who doesn't like being by myself because it's like I grew up with 2 brothers, a dog, my parents.
Right.
It's like I always had somebody to like, yo, you want to chill? You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like Joey Stacks, shout out Joey Stacks. He
Stacks.
one of his best quotes of all time. He goes, "Og, I think you're the hardest chiller I know," which is like it's funny to be like hard at chilling, like you're a hard
Right,
chiller, but he's like,
yeah.
I think you're the hardest chiller I know because like anytime anyone wanted to like smoke a blunt or fucking chill or like whatever, I'm always down.
Yeah.
I'm always
it's like,
yeah.
why not?
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, so college out here to the rest of knowing and meeting Ray.
Yeah, LA.
Yeah, right. We
It's crazy.
post pandemic now, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another add-on is like things are opening back up, new comedy clubs, new fucking bars, like
Right. And just life again, even though it's sweet because it was already expensive out here, and then now inflation. Thank you, Joe Biden.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one funny thing I was gonna say. I don't think I've ever, and I don't plan to, which is a nice thing. I don't think in the entire time that we've been friends, we've ever talked about politics, which is not a refreshing thing to not have to
good.
fucking talk. Yeah, because like
I was gonna say, yeah. Sorry to say that. I voted
no.
for Mark Cuban, actually, if you want to know the truth,
yeah,
because I'm a fucking beast.
I
Just
voted
'cause
for
he is.
Fidel Castro, and then I found out he was dead.
No, I really did vote for Mark Cuban because I'm like, that's a good
I really hope he
man.
runs.
He's a business dude. He's
And he went to
from
my high school.
Pittsburgh.
He went to my
I
high
was gonna
school.
Say.
Yeah,
And he
Mount Lebo.
and-
If you're listening,
so I was
Mark.
like, seriously, run, dude. And I see he's doing that shit for like the pharmaceutical.
He said he might.
companies.
He said which is real sick. That thing he's doing for the
That's
party.
what I'm
Real
saying.
sick.
I'm like, if anything, though, watch if he gets assassinated, then you know it's corrupt as fuck.
He said
because
maybe if his when his kids are like all like out of school, he said he might run.
that's fire.
Yeah, he said his
Like,
family's
I'm not
He
gonna
said
lie.
his-
I swear to
He
God.
said apparently his family's he like was like I'm gonna ask my family and the family's cool with it, but he was like I am so busy already. I don't want to like. I want them to be
Put
like
that-
old
yeah,
and like
yeah,
because like
yeah.
it's obviously a huge thing. Like you become like the first family and like it's
Well,
a big
yeah,
burden
and
on your
I was
family.
gonna say,
And he lives a
your
sick life.
Spotlight
Yeah.
is on you 24/7.
Yeah,
Like,
he'd
you
be
can't
like
do
one of
it.
the few dudes that did it for the good of the good.
Fate of heart, yeah,
Yeah.
and just being, yeah.
That's how I feel
That's
about
why
Bernie and stuff. It's like you few times and they never end up winning. Like
and they're not a politician. That's why I'm like, you're already
yep, that was the
you're
same
a
thing.
businessman.
Yeah, like the fun fact.
Not
you know,
Trump.
everyone knows FDR ran. You know, he was president 4 terms, right?
Right.
3 of his 4 terms was this guy named Henry Wallace, and he got fucked on. Everyone knew FDR was probably gonna die, so and no one in Washington wanted. Henry Wallace is the guy who came up with Social Security, came up with farmers getting subsidized so they don't fuck up the soil everywhere. You know what I mean? Because at that Great Depression, people were just doing so much so much shit that the
Yeah,
soil, all the nutrients are gone. So like they had to move on. The soil was dead, right?
Yeah.
So he was the one. We had to subsidize farmers. You be a corn farmer. I'll make fucking apples,
Yeah,
whatever.
different shit, so.
And genius. Like, he literally got this guy who no one even knows that this guy, Henry Wallace, got us out of the Great Depression single-handedly. Probably the best politician we've ever had. And then he gets fucked. They counted, because back then, obviously FDR would have picked him, but back then you didn't pick your vice president. Funny enough, he had to run too. So it was the most rigged. Everyone talks about it. There's like some name of it, like the Sunday Night Massacre or something like that. The votes were all in. Henry Wallace was going to win, and then they canceled it for the night chairman. The DNC went back and redid the vote, so Harry Truman won instead. And dude, he was a complete dunce. Like I think his highest political office was working at a post office or something before.
That's what I'm saying. They'll put in who they want to put in.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
And obviously he ends up being the worst president ever. He's the one who dropped 2 atomic bombs. He was terrible. So so we could have had one of the best presidents of all time, and then it turns into like that. But anyway, like I said, the by far the most politics you've ever heard me and Ray talk with each other. So you guys are in for a treat with that one. But going back to, like I said, living out here now, it's obviously it's different from back home. Ray's even from a smaller town than Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, I'm from like a town of like 5,500 maybe. So it's funny, like where I'm from, the county is like I'm from like the county is called Clearfield, and it's I believe the 3rd biggest county in the state of PA, and it has like 80,000 people population. North Hollywood, the neighborhood alone, 80,000 people population. So I'm like,
I went to Clearfield once. And it is as small as he's making it sound.
And like I'm telling you, like there's certain parts where like it'll be a house every like half mile to a mile, like maybe a house every.
It's one of those towns where there's like one of everything. Much.
Like there's just fucking deer in people's yards and shit. It's nice.
Do you guys still have the video store?
No, it finally fucking shut down. I know. I was so mad. Don't worry. I'm going back and I'm opening that shit up. Silver screen. We're getting it right. And the walk. Clearfield will be
good old
Ritz.
Soon. Shout out the Ritz.
Yeah, it'll be jumping soon again. And the dog ranch. It'll be jumping soon. Don't worry.
I love it.
But yeah, it just sucks that the way times are changing. Everyone just does everything online now. It's like, damn it, get out there and support local businesses. Like everyone wants to bitch and complain about how the world's shitty. It's like, well, we're supporting it. We got to not give into it. It's like, yeah, it is convenient to just order on Amazon. It'll fucking be there in a couple days, and it might be cheaper, but it's like, well, when the fucking local store shuts down and you see what, and it's like, because we're doing that.
I was just going to say, too, like, it might be more convenient to do that way, but I guarantee the product is always better when you do it the other way. Like, it's like going to the grocery store and getting, like, meat, and it sucks, and then you go to a butcher, and it's like, wow, this is, like, really good.
Fire. That's meat,
It's like...
And that's why I do bang with the food back home. Well, there's no good restaurants, but like the butchers and like farming and all the actual everything's all or legit. Like out here, everyone says organic, and I'm just like, this shit out here, they don't even know what the
you know about those peaches. You know about those peaches back home.
Yeah, shit. Those stain a shirt.
Make you change.
That fucker.
You have a way to work, have to turn around.
Literally bit into it, fucking juice down.
And here, Woomer just oh.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, that's
the way Dennis Rodman. Shout out Woom,
the white Dennis Rodman.
The white Dennis Rodman.
If you guys don't know who we're talking about, we'll put a picture of him up because it's
slap a fucking full
really
frame up on him right now, and you'd just be like,
you probably can't picture Dennis Rodman white right now.
Just throw a do-rag on him with fucking a Miller Lite in his hand and put him on a Harley. He's ready to go.
If Woomer had those piercings, it would be unreal. Like literally, put a wedding dress on him with those piercings, and that's fucking Dennis.
Yeah, Woom kills me. I was just with him. Shout out Woom again. Thank you for letting me stay in Denver.
Yeah, the homie Woom. He's always supporting everything.
He lived at IUP with us for 7 weeks.
I know, that was the funny part when I went to visit you guys, and I was like, Woom, are you just out here visiting? And he's like, no, I'm living here.
Yeah, the funny part about it is me and Seth, we lived together every time, but our final year is just him and I and the bando, we called it. It was literally, I don't know, maybe 300 square feet. But he lived in the place with us, and he just had the air mattress in the center of the living room. Like, you'd have to step over him to get to the kitchen and shit. But it's good times living there.
So
going out 5 days a week.
Not to close it out, but as we're wrapping down, I'm gonna ask you just some fun rapid fire questions, kind of thing. Not rapid fire, but we'll elaborate on them. But you know how it goes. So if you could meet any any like I wouldn't say celebrity. I guess it can be celebrity music, whoever.
Just
Person, dead or alive, who would be?
Damn, that one's very tough.
Yeah, you can think about it for a second. And it's hard because it's only one.
I know, that's where it's at, because like there's some like hip hop artists like slash
Like you can
that
go back
want
as far as
to.
Alexander the Great or something to like.
And then there's like also like it's weird because I'm stuck between a couple artists, athletes. I don't really care about any actors or any of that shit. And then it's pretty much just those two, athletes and artists right now. Actually, maybe I'll pick a porn star so I can bang her.
Yeah, right.
Kendra Lust. No, but, no. I don't know. Low-key, maybe it'd just be Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because like I know he's a fucking alpha male of all alpha males, and it'd just be I know the way he is. I know.
You're like,
he likes
I'm gonna
have fun
insinuate
and
like you get to have a
party,
dinner with this person.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
would just like shoot the shit, and I'd just be like, what? I don't know. You would just get a sense of motivation and drive for like something that would just push you over. I feel like, and yeah.
Okay, next
His
question.
hunger.
What if you could like travel to any time period?
Oh,
Because I'm gonna say past, because future gets like you don't know what's gonna happen there. But if you
the future.
if you could travel back to any time period,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
don't have to live there, just to check it out and like see what's
Yeah.
going on, what would it be?
It depends how far I can span. I'm between like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, like those three for sure. I feel
Really?
like I would have a blast in. Yeah, because too far back gets to a time where it's like, I mean, I would probably enjoy it, but I would just be kind of bored almost. But like the 60s, 70s, 80s,
You can still drive cars around and like
rip cars, good music still. Like rock came into play, and just
Go to a
like,
Led
you
Zeppelin
could,
concert.
everyone just was down to like fucking party, I guess, and live and experience shit. So I'm like, shit, I'm sure about that. But like, yeah.
I like that you said that, because most people I feel like be like, I'm going back to the pyramids or like something.
Nah,
shit
I'm like,
that.
because back then I'm like,
Dinosaurs.
shit. Then I'm a hunter gatherer. I have to work to live, which is fine. But like, I'm not at that point right now. So
If you could be a professional athlete in any sport, which sport would it be?
basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah. But in my head, low-key, at first I was like, damn, maybe like a professional snowboarder or dirt bike
I
rider.
thought that's
'cause
what you were
could
gonna say,
get the
motocross,
chicks, too,
yeah.
and just rip dirt bikes. But nah, basketball would just be fire, just to play every night. Like,
Have you ever seen the movie Art of Flight?
who's in that again?
It's like a snowboarding like documentary kind of thing.
That sounds.
You would
very
fuck with
familiar,
it
yeah.
hard.
Very
We're gonna watch it at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like you would love that. They're like
Yeah.
axe throwing and just getting hammered and like checking out like where
And
the
so it's like actual.
yeah, it's like actually following like sick ass snowboarder dudes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's real
Nice
sick.
try.
It's called The Art of Flight, and the soundtrack's fucking amazing for it.
Then
You
I-
would
yeah,
really
definitely
like.
haven't seen
Yeah,
that then.
there was a point where my brother's roommate was like, I would stay with him all the time, and we come down and we blacked out watching it like every night before he went to bed. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you're out of your mind.
Right. But as for best sport that I'm looking to be like the best at here eventually is golf.
yeah, we're about to
I'd
go.
like
We're about to go play a sunset round
Oh,
here.
yeah.
And
Hell
finish the rest
yeah.
of these beers probably after this podcast.
I'm telling you.
So for people who want to come on the pod, this is what we do. We have fun. We drink. We golf. We smoke. We play with the dog. The dog's sleeping now. She's out.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah, right. If you heard any,
About
if
time
you ever
to
heard
make
any
it.
noise in the background during this podcast, that was my dog
She's
running around. But
ad-libbing.
she'll be a part of this podcast. So if you don't like that, I'm sorry.
You'll be fine. If you ain't a dog lover, then fuck you.
Yeah, right.
As Ron Burgundy would say.
That was one of the funny. That dude Joe Bartnick, shout out Joe, awesome comedian, who I opened up for in Pittsburgh. He was on a podcast, and the dude asked him, Paul Vierzy, who's like was on just Joe Rogan's podcast. He asked him, he goes, what do you think about people who don't like dogs? And he just goes, dude, Hitler liked dogs. He goes, if you don't like dogs, you're the worst person
I
ever.
was gonna say,
And I was like,
because,
that response that like even Hitler liked dogs. It's like how you know if you don't like dogs. there's
that's
something
what
wrong.
kills me. I'm like, some of these people, I'm like, I would much rather probably.
How are you mean
I
to
hate to say it,
animals?
I would rather have to kill a human than an animal anytime.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a bear or something that's gonna kill me. But like,
It's
yeah,
crazy that
someone's
you
like,
don't
here's
have
a
a dog.
human,
It's
and here's a dog.
It's crazy. Now that I think about it, it's crazy that you don't have a dog.
Well, because like,
Because you care
just
too much.
yeah, well,
No, because you'd be such a good owner that's exactly why you don't. A
I
shitty
know.
owner would have just had him cooped up in your house all day.
Exactly.
That's
I
why you don't
know.
have a dog.
Trust me, I do it all for them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I do it, because I know like I move around too much too, and I want it to be like establishment where like they know like they got a home. This is where they'll be.
Dude, it drives me crazy. Some of these people in these apartments, they'll take them out once a day and just let them piss out front and just bring them back
That's
in.
what
They
I'm
don't even
saying.
walk
I'm
them.
like,
I'm
these
bro.
dogs are just their whole life. They just think they're just concrete and like a building. That's all they get. I'm like, let them run.
Yeah, 100%. Like I take Sandy everywhere. Literally even down the hall. She'll like, I'll just off the leash. I'll like, run down the hall like with me when I go do laundry and shit. Like,
I'm telling you, that's why I when I go home, I'm definitely building a dog. I'd like to out here, but I want to build a dog ranch and just those dogs can fucking
probably be
run.
a sick dog breeder, honestly.
Trainer.
Yeah.
And just getting them to swim and shit. Yeah, it would be fun. I mean, that's like that's
a good
dream
question. I
passion.
asked. Do you have a favorite kind of dog breed?
Rottweiler, surprisingly.
Dude,
yeah.
give me a pound. Fuck yeah. People don't understand how sick those dogs are.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, my like almost relative essentially, she had like 2 or 3 of them. My mom was like never like she'd always be like, don't go up near them and shit. They'd be barking and real mean as fuck looking, but they loved me. So I was like, I bang with these dogs. And then like as I got older, I'm like, I really liked like Rottweilers. Like I had a little dog when I was a kid, like at our place, but Bear, he was the shit. But yeah, Rottweiler would be the first dog I get, and then I'll eventually I have to get a redhead or brown, whatever, Doberman, because my roommates that used to
Dobermans
have
are dope.
Oh, he was the goofiest, funnest dog.
My best friend, who I hope he listens to this because I hope he listens to this, Mike Costas, like my best friend growing up.
Yeah.
He had a Doberman named Duke growing up, and dude, I swear to God, we pull out the bong and he would run up to you and put his head in your lap because he wanted you to blow the bong smoke in his face. He loved getting stoned.
I'm telling you, they were
Doberman named Duke, real sick dog.
I never even experienced a Doberman until I moved out here, and my roommate had one. I was like, this dog is fucking awesome. Like everything he killed flies and shit with his nose.
It's so funny that you said Rottweiler though, because listen to this. So growing my dad's place in Ohio, the neighbor had 2 Rottweilers, but we knew them since they were puppies. They grew up to be the biggest beast, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
And the one day they were tossing around a turtle, playing catch with a turtle that was in its shell, like scared for its life, right? The neighbor comes over, and again, this is Ohio for you. Neighbor comes over and he goes, "Is this your guy's turtle?" To my dad. My dad goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Here, guys, I got you a turtle." We named it Speed.
I mean,
yeah, so I had a turtle growing up, and that was just literally from this.
Getting tossed around
just
by the
getting tossed by the 2
Rottweiler.
Rottweilers next door. And I have a picture of me real young with them when they were puppies, and then I have a picture with me when they were big.
Big
and
boys.
they were,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
talking like 130.
Oh yeah,
They were big.
Oh yeah, they can get big.
And so funny enough, so fast forward, I'm watching on YouTube with Drew. Search it up, you guys. There's a video on YouTube that says like it's like top 10. It doesn't mean like most beast dogs. It's like top 10 most like basically most beast dogs. But like that's not the word. Not aggressive. It's like basically just like the best dogs to protect you, but also like be like friend, like just the best like beast dogs.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it, but it's not. That's not what the actual YouTube search
Yeah.
is. But it's like basically top 10 most beast dogs, right?
Yeah.
But not just being to like kill somebody, but to also like whatever.
Protect and be
Yeah,
friendly,
like everything. So it's going through the list, and like Caleb has a Argentinian Dogo. Do you know what those
Oh
are?
yeah, that's one of the dogs I watch is half that, half pit bull.
Yeah, so those
But
things.
he's the best dog of all time.
Oh.
The nicest dog.
And when I walk, I'll go with
Nothing but
Caleb. I go
smiles.
with Caleb all the time to like when I'm home, we take it to the dog park. And people all the time are like, "Is that a pit?" Because it looks like a pit bull on steroids. They
Yeah.
look like
Oh
monsters.
yeah.
I remember the comedian again. Shout out! Watch the Joe Rogan clip with Bert Kreischer and Joe Rogan. They talk about apparently he tried to buy one in college. Bert Kreischer tried to buy an Argentinian Dogo, and the breeder was like, "Are you gonna let this dog sleep with you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'm not selling it to you then." And he's like, "Why?" And he's like, "Dude, this dog will end up owning your house if you like. You can't like you got to be like very disciplinary with it off the gate, and then especially the males." He's like, "It's different if it's a female. Like Caleb has a female one, and." They pull up a video of it on Joe Rogan of like them showing this dog, and he's like, "Dude, it looks like the dog. It looks like the clown It almost. Like it's like that white and just looks like it's so yoked, right?" And they were joking about how like they're like, "Yeah, it's end up owning your household." And he's like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "You come home and it will be fucking your wife." Like, it's just like he's fucking with
Dog,
it.
yeah. He's like takes your life.
Literally. So they're fucking around. But anyway, so on the list was like the Argentinian Dogo was like 4 or something like that, and it went through the whole list, right? And it got down to number 1, and it hadn't said Rottweiler, and I was like, this fucking list is bullshit. Like, this is a fucking bullshit list. I was like, dude, Rottweiler's not even on this list. Like, there's they just completely disregard the entire list. Number 1, Rottweiler. And I was like,
shit,
yes. I fucking knew it. I was like, because I was like, there's no way this can actually be a list and not have Rottweiler on it. And it was number 1.
I'm telling you, they're sick as hell. Like, because I was a little kid, my mom was so afraid, and I'm like, I'm not afraid of this dog, and it fucking like it came up to me and like wanted to like just protect me and be with me. I'm like, this dog's sick as hell. What do you mean?
Fun fact: you know that pit bulls
And their eyes.
That's
are
another
awesome.
thing. People get all offended when you tell people this. So dogs for thousands of years are bred for reasons. They weren't just there to be your friend. Like I'm not gonna feed this thing if it's not gonna give me something, right?
Right.
It just didn't make sense. So people get offended. They're like, because I'll tell people like German Shepherds are the most aggressive dog. It's not even close because they were bred to be aggressive dogs. That's literally they were used for. The difference between a shepherd dog and a German Shepherd. Well, one was for herding, and one was for attacking.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll talk
Dylan
about.
has 2 shepherds. German shepherds though, they're friendly as fuck. Both of them.
And again,
it's just training and stuff.
And again, if you're friendly with it, it's gonna be friendly no matter what. But you know how it goes. So, I was talking about like the different breeds of dogs and like what they're bred for. And pit bulls, obviously in America, is like everyone's like, oh, these are fight dogs. These are like aggressive dogs. Originally, the way pit bulls were bred and meant to be bred, they were nursery dogs in London. So when they had a woman there, all the men go work. They have a woman watch the kids, the babies, like in a nursery, a little nursery, and then the pit bulls were guard dogs.
Yeah.
So like they actually like in their genetic brooding of however it's hundreds or thousands of years, they love kids. Like pit bulls love children.
That's what I'm saying. People are just
like
so
pit bulls
biased.
won't unless you breed it to be like a fight dog or whatever. It won't. They'll never attack a kid because they're like how when we were chilling earlier with Sandy, she's a poodle, and poodles were bred to be French hunting dogs, so they love retrieving. Right. They're like little mini retrievers. Like they love poodles are literally. That's why if you could hear if you heard all that jumping around during the podcast, that was my dog fetching a ball the entire time. So
yeah, no, it is crazy like where dogs stem from and how they are and the way they act. Trust me, I like most of the clients' dogs that I watch and shit are pit bulls, and like all of them do nothing but smile and want to play, and then everyone's always afraid, and I'm just like, quit being so fucking afraid of it. Like if you treat it like shit, yeah, it would be a piece of shit, but it's not. So like
it's crazy too because like they're protectors, not attackers.
Yeah,
that's the difference between like I love German Shepherds, but they were bred more for attacking, where it's like pit bulls were literally bred for guarding.
Right.
Like they're not.
They just happen to be beasts.
Yeah, they look like they're muscular as fuck. That's why
they are.
And that's the thing though is like I guarantee German Shepherds are just that jacked, but they just have all that fur. Where it's like pit bulls are like short haired, so they just look yoked, and it's oh shit, like.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean.
But I love that you said Rottweiler. I was not expecting us to go on that tangent because I was expecting that just to be one quick question, but that literally is like I love that type of dog. It's literally my favorite.
Their eyes look awesome too.
Do you have a favorite superhero?
Hulk.
The Hulk?
Yeah. Just because, there's multiple reasons. Like, green's my favorite color, but, like...
I love asking that question. Like I love asking that question because I get a different question. I get a different person every time. It's the one thing that you never get. Like, someone else might say Rottweiler, you're not going to get another Hulk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just because, like, the green and... I had anger issues when I was younger, I felt like, so...
Oh, dude, that's one of the... I heard...
and just, like, yeah, he's a beast.
I heard the comedian Shane Gillis talking about it on a podcast about how he's, like... talking about how when he's younger, he was just like every guy when they get angry, they're like, "You're not gonna like me when I get angry." When you get real pissed off, you don't know how to control it.
My fucking neck.
Oh, dude, it's like I just thought, you just get so like
blood's just boil.
Yeah,
blood boils sometimes.
Oh my god, it's like when you get so angry you start crying because you just don't know how to control.
Literally,
it.
when I was a kid,
it's like a tea kettle.
Literally. So yeah, I'd have to say Hulk. On that.
While we're on that subject, if you had one superpower, what would it be?
Damn, that's tough. Flying, usually most people would say. I'm between that.
Wouldn't you rather? I always say, wouldn't you rather teleport than fly? Though mine's teleport.
True, because like then you're there.
I could be back in Clearfield,
yeah, true. But I also wouldn't mind to like have some sort of like mind reading or something, but like I don't want to know everyone's stresses and shit, but
that's what I'm saying.
I would like to know like
I feel like it'd be a rabbit hole
and stuff to try to help people if I could. Like that'd be the easiest way to find out, but like flying would be like a more of like a
Isn't it funny that no one ever says that?
Power, like you're doing it for yourself.
Wouldn't that be the best one to say if you're a really good person? Is like, I never even thought about this till right now, where it's like, but is be like, I wish I could just heal people instantaneously.
That's what I kind of would want if I could.
But like everyone in the
you're
world who's sick would come right to you.
Because then you wouldn't need a superhero until, well, you would be for me to.
But like, do you
do
think
that,
there's
but,
billions
like,
of people on the planet, they'd all become lining up all day? That's all you do is healed.
Nah, that's the thing though. Like I'd be like, don't get complacent. It's like we are today. Like people have issues that they think are fucking issues. and
Matson
they're
jumps
not.
off the garage, breaks his ankle, and heal.
Yeah. Him, I would. I'm like, all right, he was living. Someone else would be like, oh, they didn't have my diet soda in. And then they flip out or something.
Yeah.
I'd be like, fuck out of here. Quit drinking soda anyway. Especially diets, aspartames, fake
Dude.
sugar. What do you think sugar's shit and fake sugar's even shittier?
I had a whole stand-up bit about how I was making Caleb cry.
Tastes like shit.
I was making
too.
Caleb cry laughing the one time because I was flipping out about. I was like, I hate people who drink diet soda.
Same. It
Because
tastes
you know,
fucking off.
but you know
It's
why I hate
worse
them.
for you.
You know why I hate them? It's a selfish reason. Because sometimes, every once in a while, when I order a soda and they accidentally give me diet, it ruins my whole day. Like I've done that before, where it's like I get home and I'm like, oh, nice, I finally got a Coke,
Yeah.
and then I taste it, I'm like, they gave me a fucking
Fucking
diet
diet.
Coke, and then it makes me want to kill the people who even drink that shit because I'm like, why is this even a thing?
Right.
Like you're not gonna you think you're losing weight drinking Diet Coke? You're out of your fucking mind.
Tastes worse.
Tastes
and
worse.
It's worse.
And it's worse
you.
for you.
Literally. So lose. Why not? If you're
Just
gonna
throw
lose,
diet
then
on
lose.
it.
Just get rid of the tea.
I have some diet
Just get
heroin.
rid of the tea
I
and
said
die. Just die.
You wanna go shoot up some diet heroin?
Just get rid of the tea and you guys will be fine.
It makes
Just go
me,
die.
it makes me so
Just
mad.
Go on a die.
Because it's every once in a while where I'm like,
Diet.
you know, I'm gonna get a Coke with a burger or something, you know, like, and then I'm like, diet. And I'm not even mad at the person that gave me it. I'm like, I'm mad that it's even an option that they could fuck up to give me it.
Right.
Makes
Yeah.
no sense.
Yeah. The only time I drink soda is with gin and ginger
Yeah.
ale.
That's like,
Gin and ginger ale.
do you watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Mm-hmm.
That's like that episode where he's like,
Mhm.
he like takes it. He's like, oh look, screwdrivers. And then
Mhm.
he's like, no, that's just orange juice. He's like, what? Like the mixer? You just calling orange juice a mixer?
Yeah.
He's like,
That's just a.
he's like,
juice,
yeah. The other week I had a soda. He's like, no rum in it. He's like, really? They do that? He goes, yeah, people do it. People do it.
Oh yeah. He does.
He's like, they're so amazed that people don't have booze in their fucking, like orange juice is just a
Right.
just a
He only
mixer.
knows bar drinks.
I love it.
Literally.
So funny. I feel like that'd be like the best like way to like showcase like your comedic talent is like an acting like Dennis Reynolds from Always Sunny would be a great role for you.
Yeah, Dennis.
Yeah.
I would like that. He's an asshole at times though, so I like that too. He thinks he knows everything at times.
It's like a good acting of like
Yeah,
you-
we're
yeah, it's
the
just,
one where he acts like he's like a psychologist and he goes and talks like that therapist too with all them. He's
Oh.
like, so doc, what do you think? And then she's like, you're the worst of all of them.
yeah,
And
then
he's like, what do you mean? And he's like,
the best when he goes about
listen, we already know that.
He goes, I've been keeping a file on D since we were 9 years old.
Yeah. Like that's a really good. Like I would love to play a part in like. Something
Yeah, I
like
can
that,
see you
'cause the
doing
way he
that
does
part.
something, yeah, that'd be fun.
What's your favorite TV show of all time? And it could be like animated. It could be like anything.
As a kid, I'd say probably like Rocket Power.
I knew you were gonna fucking say that.
100% as a kid, but now that I'm older, I always say usually probably like Lost. I
Really?
love Lost, yeah.
Why
love
have I never known you were a Lost? I'm a huge Lost fan.
Big Lost guy.
You were a Lost guy.
Big Lost.
Wow.
Big Lost guy.
I
I watched through it twice. Second season, Hatch. I was a big Desmond guy. That's my favorite
Dude,
character.
how have I never known you?
Yeah.
Because it's like not a show you can bring up to somebody if they don't watch it. Because it's so
No,
long. It's
I
so
know,
like,
and like so much different shit.
8
happens in
years
it.
or something that show
Yeah.
took. Like,
I'm glad I did. Like when I remember when it was first coming out on television. I was
did you
younger.
watch the first episode when it dropped?
No, well, so like I
Because
remember.
I
when-
didn't with Game of Thrones. Lost is one of the only shows I did that with. The plane crash, and I was like, what am I watching?
See, and that's what I remember the previews for, and I was like, all right, this show looks like awesome, and I was like, I'm gonna try to like remember to watch this, and then like it came out, and like the third episode, I want to say like it was on one time, my friends, and I was like, what is this? And he's like, oh, my mom's watching Lost, and I was like, it came out, and then I was like, shit, like I was like, I can't watch this, like I have to see it from the beginning, and then I literally was like, you know what, I'm just gonna wait until like it comes out where I can just watch it, and then eventually years pass, and then like. Yeah, all 6 seasons are out at this
watched it all
point
at
now.
once?
Oh yeah,
No.
over a time.
That must have
period.
blew your mind
Yeah,
then.
oh yeah.
I had to wait years for that shit.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't.
I had to wait
Game-
years. And that was back when like you had to like wait and you were like,
Oh,
oh my
I
god,
know.
what's gonna happen?
Oh, like you have a week to think about
were
it.
you a Sawyer guy?
I was.
I could
actually.
see
I
you
was
being
a
Sawyer.
guy.
That'd be another
I was
role
a
you could
Jack
play.
guy too, though. I like Jack
Yeah.
as well. I liked them all. Like Jack had his
What's the
sides.
girls? She was banging.
Kate.
Kate.
Yeah, Sawyer was kind of douchey at times, I will say. Jack was a good dude, but then there's times I was like, you're a pussy.
Mhm.
I liked even John for a bit, but Desmond was my favorite.
Really?
The Australian dude.
Yep.
He's like, hey, Pane, I love you, Pane. And he had the flow.
That shit was a mind fuck, bro.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Mind fuck. Do you?
It was
If,
weird.
we're gonna ruin it because it's been on long enough. It's not like we're doing some new show.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're? What do you think they're in purgatory? What do you think?
See, I'm not really sure. I wasn't sure if they just like had died in the crash and then it's all like a dream, or if they're just kind of like, yeah, it's like a played out world of like not like a dream, but like I don't.
It's almost like they landed somewhere in like the Bermuda Triangle. That's just like a weird place that like is like between time and space.
Like erase their mind or something enough where they like.
Because it was like the
don't know
dude.
each
The
other,
dude was in
but,
a
like,
wheelchair and could walk.
remember
Remember?
shit. Yeah.
Like that dude.
Right, but then like how it ends, like how he sees the plane flying over, and it's like, is that them?
They're
But he's
just
already
replaying
there, or yeah, like is he just? Are they like did they die to everyone else, but they were just alive on the island to themselves or something?
Yeah, that's
I don't
right.
know.
It almost like crashed like a place in between time and space where it's
Yeah.
just like it's its own like.
I think the writers are just like, we're too far in now. We don't know what the fuck to do. Let's kind of just end this.
Dude,
shit.
I didn't want to even bring that up, but I was gonna say like
Literally.
it does seem like when you
Yeah.
watch it that they didn't understand. They
Yeah,
didn't
like,
know where I was gonna
the
go.
first 2 seasons were the best ever. Third was good. 4, 5 were kind of shitty, and then like 6 was good again. But like, there's a little spree where it kind of got a little. I was like, all right, this shit's kind of getting cheesy. But when I liked the village and stuff, like when they had the villages, I remember I was like, shit, I would live there.
Literally.
It's a simple life out there in the fucking.
Especially the dude, like I said, that
Dude,
was in a wheelchair that wasn't anymore. He made it look real sick. He was just like throwing knives and shit,
Oh,
being
yeah.
sick.
Hugo wasn't bad. He
The
was
fat
pretty
guy?
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
Lottery guy.
Yeah, he did win the lottery too, but then crashes in a plane. Quite the luck.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's we'll wrap this episode up. I think we're about an hour and a half.
Get some food.
Yeah, get some grub in us. But dude, thanks for a bunch for being on the first episode. I think that was a ton of fun. I hope the people listening, I know they're gonna laugh. That would be the one thing that's definitely gonna happen. We covered a bunch of subjects from high school to college to living in LA now to sports. Yeah, so to dogs. If you can,
Little bit of
people watching the
porn.
video right now, you probably saw the dog running around the whole time. She's passed out right now with a tennis ball, like literally in her paws.
She's tuckered out. That's like me after I like jerk off twice.
Speaking of, we might have to go hit some more balls. But
Seriously. Oh yeah, speaking of that too, today, this is how I realized August and I were really good friends. He let me wash his ball on like this 6th hole.
he
was like, he was sitting there, and next thing you know,
I wasn't
up
pumping
and
it
down.
hard
And I'm
enough.
like, see, you aren't a true friend unless you let me wash your ball.
I said I would love you to just get some more, because I wasn't pumping it hard enough. They weren't getting clean.
Oh, it's all in the forearms. It's a big.
And this
you gotta
guy's
know
got
the
some
tour.
forearms,
Yeah,
let me tell you.
I've been on a course or two.
That's exactly how I want to end this. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Like I said, follow on Instagram and YouTube are going to be the 2 main places, and we're going to get all the audio on Spotify and Apple Music here soon. At Sense of Humor TV, no periods, no punctuations. I probably said that a little fucked up, but I have had some Modelo.
Punctuation.
Punxsutawney Phils.
Yeah, Gus. No, that's the lottery one.
All right, Ray, any last words?
Yeah, I was
for
gonna
the
say
audience?
thanks for having me on, Augie. Appreciate it. I'm definitely will be on here again, especially since I live a couple miles up the road. I'm taking the NL in the All-Star game tonight. Always do, because that's what Griffey. Well, he was on the AL for Seattle at first, but then he finished off his career in Cincinnati and the Pirates in the NL. So I usually always do cheer for the NL. So taking them. Definitely check out Augie's podcast from here on out. There'll be some good ass content on here, and yeah, thanks guys.
Funny enough, I was gonna bet on the AL, but now I'm taking the NL.
Mm-hmm.
So
Even
go
though-
NL, and thanks for the shout out, Ray. Really, appreciate you coming on. This was a lot of fun. I had a honestly great time today, and we'll hit you guys with another episode soon. Thanks. Sense of
yeah.
Humor TV out.
See you guys.